Ah, breathe in that digital air. Are you nervous? Yeah. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, how long have you been back there? Wanderer, you must rescue my daughter from the beast and from herself. Please fulfill this old man's final wish. You know, if I had a nickel for every time I had to fix someone's daddy issues by being their new daddy, I'd have about like 20 cents. It's like
in game.
in Minecraft?
Because I could see this being real life. Actually, oh my god, no, that explains everything.
So you just thought it was, you know, like, oh, you know, Hawke's a MILF man, that's what he makes all his jokes about. Well, you know, maybe sometimes I don't want to be the paternal figure in the relationship.
Oh, he just attracts the broken women.
Yeah. Haven't I seen that fashion abomination somewhere before? Damn, got him. Z formation. Where is Frog? Says Doom. I'm sorry. It was tough for an old stick like me to get here, you know. And I did it to fulfill my lifelong dream of becoming a maid. Oh, Grandpa. Oh. So I'm not budging from this spot until I get my little frilly dress and feather duster in my hands.
I can't kill the fucking jockey with a
How
grenade.
fast can I kill Rochelle with this?
Kill secured.
Answer's pretty fast.
Hey!
Are you teabagging her?
Back up.
Anyway, let's go do something.
Don't worry, Rochelle. I got you. Oh wait, hold on. All right. Oh, whoops. Hear that charger? Plunging attack!
I'm high.
Oh, there's a hunter here too.
It's a
No, I added some gypsy
Crazy?
guys to the
You're going
back.
crazy.
That was crazy
Sorry.
once.
They locked me in a
Fucking the
room.
wizard. It will not
Rubber
end well.
room.
A rubber
Rubber
room with
rats.
rats.
And your rats make
The
me
rats
crazy.
made me crazy. Crazy.
Crazy?
It was
I
crazy.
was crazy.
That was crazy once.
They locked me in a room. A rubber room. A rubber
A
room
rubber
with
room
rats.
with rats.
And rats make
Rats
me
make
crazy.
crazy.
Crazy. I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room. A rubber room with rats.
Chad, did you know that I was crazy once? It was a wild ride. I felt bad afterwards, you know, like after Bad Mexican.
Unfortunate.
I looked down at my hands and covered in blood and like, oh my god, I'm a monster. Then I just cope with copious amounts of older women in my life.
I just can't get over my fucking picture right now. It's perfect. Screaming.
It's so good.
It's horrifying. I feel bad for anyone who comes in here intoxicated.
Yeah.
We need to grab Frog.
Oh god, that
was
again.
Fun. That was fun.
I'm gonna. Oh god, what's his gonna look like? Because his is death from Bill and Ted right now. Oh no, that's right. He's the one that showed me the thing. So his is gonna be the cowboy frog, which is equally as badass. But
There's no butt to that. It's just badass. The fuck?
Yeah. How was work? It's been really fucking weird. Because I'm basically on call. Those are my hours. Which I don't think that's how you run a pharmacy, but whatever.
What you gotta do.
Yeah. I just wish I actually had a schedule, because, you know, that's why I work my stream schedule around, which is why it's different every fucking week. Anyways, how's everybody doing?
Fucking chilling, finishing a Warhammer project I've been letting sit for a while.
Right on.
Because it's just mocking me, and it pisses me off.
Yeah. Vulcan, are you aware of the new fad of VTubers watching Warhammer lore?
I mean, if it gets all the sad, lonely men, fucking go for it.
Yeah. Now I'm like straight up just seeing like Warhammer VTubers, which is nice. We need to break away from the fucking anime sphere. The weebs just kind of hijacked VTubing.
I mean, yeah, I say burn the weebs at the stake.
Where's the Western style VTubers? Right. Well, let's be real.
They died first wave.
Is it a weeb if it's a Japanese VTuber? I don't even think the Japanese really know the term weeb. But, you know, I don't watch Japanese VTubers, so... I don't watch any of the corporate stuff.
That is definitely for the best.
Yeah, because, like, they can be as nice and cool as possible, but deep down, they are there to pander to me and sell me a product. You know, they can't, like, say certain things. Like, I've seen it so many times, like, oh, I can't say that, guys, my boss will get mad at me. Even though it's something completely normal for the internet.
Oh no, the N-word, it'll totally hit marketing wrong.
I don't know, man, that worked for some of the Japanese VTubers when they played GTA 5.
It really fucking did. Infinite money glitch. Right there.
Someone who forsakes their own country for Japan. Yeah. God, there's just... I remember when, like, weeb and weeaboo was, like, basically a derogatory term, and then they just kind of got called it so much that they just took it. Remember, kids, don't be like the cringy-ass weebs on the internet to celebrate Japan. Don't buy a cheap-ass katana that's gonna snap in half the first time you use it, and definitely don't buy a body pillow of your waifu that you've used so much it stands on its own. No. You do what Big Trouble in Little Tokyo did. You buy a badass leather jacket with a rising sun on the back, and then you just bang a Japanese chick.
Get bitches, procreate.
That's what Dolph Lundgren did. And we should all probably be a little bit more like him, I'm just saying. Because I think that guy's still like he's still like physically a monster, isn't he, at like his age?
Oh dude, his genetics are great, but he's also probably on fucking steroids.
2025.
There's no way you're in Hollywood and not on drugs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Have you seen some of the
Unless
shit
you're
that
Keanu
people come
Reeves.
out and said? Like, what was his name? Zac Efron? For, like, that Baywatch movie? Literally, all he was allowed to ever eat was chicken. And it got to the point he had to just blend it because he couldn't stomach it.
Yeah.
And what was it? What's his name? Jason Momoa? Where, like, he didn't have, like, that superhero body at the beach, and he was still very good looking. Like, he was still very muscular, and everyone laughed at him and said he was fat and had a dad bod.
He has a superior body. That's all fucking muscle.
Come on, people. Have you heard of the game Age of Wonders? It's a turn-based strategy fantasy game. It's pretty fun. I don't really play a lot of strategy games, but I feel like I've heard the name before.
You have. I streamed it many a time on the other server.
Ah, yes.
That's where I was doing the dragon shit and the necromancer rock dwarf bullshit.
Hi. Why just came up with the most weird shit? Didn't we make like a bunch of frogs wielding guns?
Yes, and they won many a match.
Yes, the berserker gun-toting frogs.
I constantly gave them swarmling traits, so just made them into Skaven, but with guns. It's a horrifying sentence because that's already the Skaven.
It's gonna blow up the moon again.
Electric Boogaloo.
How did the Skaven blow up the moon? Because was it like a cannon they used or something? Because they didn't know where those little rat fuckers...
No, they straight up sent like a rocket.
Okay, I was gonna say, because they didn't know where those little dumb rat fuckers are gonna climb up to the moon. Just pull the Piccolo. How about a Dragon Ball? What's that? The moon has turned Gohan to a giant rampaging gorilla. I know. I'll blow up the moon. There'll be no negative repercussions there. And then there was one of like space pods that had a holographic moon just in case. He's like, oh, there's the moon again. Oh, at the pod. Oh, there goes Gohan again. You know, I had a thought for a second, like, maybe I should go back and watch Dragon Ball Z and see if it's as good as everyone remembers. And then I realized if I make a video about that, they will find me and they will crucify me. But not before standing outside my house just shouting as they try to, like, go Super Saiyan. That's when I get my gun.
Ism at its finest.
Gonna show all these nerds that farming the shotgun is way more powerful than they let on in the show. I was playing low magic age and replaced the warrior girl sprite with an anime swordstress. My community is a godsend. Oh yeah, it's like Darkest Dungeon where you can do that with all the models. I'll tell you an interesting setting that was kind of like low-esh magic was the game Tyranny. It's in the same vein as like all the CRPGs, like Pillars of Eternity and stuff. Made by Obsidian too, who also made Pillars. And it wasn't like the Iron Age like most fantasy is. It was the Bronze Age. So there was like one group of people that had an iron mine and they were the most badass motherfuckers on the planet. Well, besides the literal demigod guy that literally said, alright, if you do not claim this piece of territory from me, I'm gonna blow up the country. Like, I guess we should go try and do that. Only Pillars didn't control like ass. It got a little better once they started like patching it, like they gave actual companions AI and they weren't just standing there until you told them what to do. But the fucking doorways, man. There are so many doorways in that narrow dungeon game. And if their path is blocked because of the doorway, they just stop acting. It's awful. 6 party members, by the way. We're playing an interesting game tonight. I looked on Twitch and like 88 people are following this game, so you know that's right up my alley. It's very homage to Ultima. Can't believe the Lord of the Rings or MMORPG is still alive. That game is awful. There are a few MMOs that are still alive, like the old Dungeons and Dragons MMO. I'm curious how all those games have changed, because I know the D&D one has gone through a lot of like changes over development time of the years. You know what? I'm trying to think, what MMOs are there even out there? I mean, obviously there's WoW and there's Final Fantasy 14. What other like big ones are there? City of Heroes is gone. What was that one? It wasn't Starfield. It's like, it's some sci-fi one where like there's rock dudes, there are furries. No, it's a flight sim. It was like, I can't remember, but it was something where like the medic was the most broken class of all things because it was also a damage dealer. Fantasy Star. Yeah, I can kind of see that. It's like Microsoft's attempt at trying to get into the Japanese market, because let's be real, no one probably has an Xbox over in Japan. I should play the original Phantasy Star sometime. I have the means to play it. We could do like a retro day or something. There's so many games I want to play, and I have to make sure all of them can be run on my PC, on my laptop. As fun fact, this entire time, folks, your good old Papa Plague, you know, Papa Hawke here, has been streaming on a laptop that's 4 years old. Phantasy Star is made by Sega. It is. I do, dude. If I ever, like, get enough money safely secured, that's the first fucking thing I'm buying.
I'm surprised you don't have the money already.
Yeah, I just really have to save up for, like, my student loans and shit.
I keep reading student loans or everything. I am beyond lucky to not have to deal with them.
Yeah. How does Nintendo get away with underpowered consoles, decent games? Because they have more of a novelty facet. Like, you can't take your Xbox and you can't take your PlayStation out on the go with you. Oh, the Phantasy Star MMORPG is free, bro. Yeah, but can I run it? Probably not. Plus, the only MMO I've, like, even, like, tried... Well, okay, I've tried two. One was the DC Online, or DC Universe Online. I played that for a little bit, and it was mostly for the character creator. And I played a little bit of Elder Scrolls Online. Both were by myself, and just MMOs aren't really my thing. I guess technically I also played Destiny 1. As much as people don't think that that game is an MMO, that's what it branded itself as.
It was an MMO. Anyone who disagrees is... I don't think I can say that word.
You're a nerd.
Yeah, we'll use that one.
Enwa.
Hell right.
Oh god, we're never gonna get that in a video game now, are we? We're just good old, like, Dunmer just throwing out casual racial slurs as she walked by. Then again, that game also had strippers, so...
A dying breed of video games. Video games fan service.
Yeah, it wasn't even
That's
fan
actually
service. Like, even that, like, Daggerfall straight up just had, like, nightclubs with, like, you know, pixelated dancers and fully in the nude. Oh, dude, most of the Daedric lords were naked. Like, I mean, obviously Azura would, because, you know, it's Azura.
Ooh, StarCraft 2 had nudity in it. I just remember that. Because it was made when Blizzard still was run by competent people.
And not breast milk enthusiasts.
Dude, it's insane how all these, like, old gaming companies that were good at one point are now just actively the worst of the worst.
Sure. Like, is there anybody that was, like, on the original Blizzard team still at Blizzard? Or they just straight up just all left?
I think
So
they
I'm
all
blaming.
left.
It's like BioWare, right? Like, the three big guys, they all fucking left BioWare after because they got tired of EA's bullshit. It's a circle of life. The small become big, the big become too big for their britches, and then the small rise up to take their place, and then they become big.
Careful, you're starting to sound like an anarchist. You're starting to sound like me.
No, I'm not a little bitch. I just wants to punch somebody for no reason. I'm just saying, this is a cycle of life. It's a beautiful thing, my guy.
You know, I knew I was a wrestler for a reason.
It's just like, and let's not like go like, oh, poor like BioWare and shit. Like, you look back, BioWare got exactly what they wanted. They wanted to be that big AAA company, and look where it got them. Now they're at home washing their tights. The early game is too slow in Inquisition. The fucking Hinterlands is the biggest slog I've ever played in a video game, and I
And
dread.
you constantly go back. You cannot escape it. It's like you're there. You're always there.
Let's put it this way. Cyberpunk is horrible at starting a new character because the intro to the game is like 3 to 4 hours long. I would rather go back and make a new character on Cyberpunk than make a new character on Inquisition because I'll have to go through the fucking Hinterlands. That's how bad it is. My biggest complaint though with Inquisition is how they keep fucking neutering the skills with every game, dude. Especially if you want to play healer or support. Because it started, I was like, okay, heal has a 6-second cooldown, but you gotta keep healing, you gotta watch your mana. Okay, so there's like some actual skill if I also want to buff. Yeah, I've got to balance all that shit. Then in 2, okay, we have a singular heal skill, and it has a 40-second cooldown, so you can only use it once. Unless you play the class that, which I would. Unless you play the Spirit Hero class, which, if you want to use their spells, you literally can't do any damage. And you can only heal. And then in Inquisition, it was like, yeah, there's no heal spell now. Yeah, it's an overshield. Okay, do I get anything else? You get Dispel. Okay, what's the support, like, what's the support class for the mage? Battle mage. Oh. Well, if I don't want to be a battle mage, tough shit. Being a rogue sucks until you get a bow. Dude, I fucking hate the bow in Inquisition because... Can you see my mouse? Let me see here. Okay. Let's say like my mouse is here, right? You can even see that. Let me catch up on stream. I don't think you can.
No, I can't see it.
Okay, well just imagine that I'm strafing left slowly, constantly. Blink, 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 blink. Exciting gameplay. Blink, blink. Oh, someone's getting close to me. I'm gonna use the overly, like, obnoxiously animated, like, backup move that shoots like an explosive. And then, oh wait, nope. Because of how the game works, they're still coming at me. Plink, plink, plink. Ow. The bow is so boring. Like, I think the only way the bow would be fun is like the, I think it was the hunter in the multiplayer, where he had a special passive that he did more damage the closer he was. And you can only use bows. So they would have you use the grapple ability to go up to somebody and then do the like the backflip shot move. But that's like, that would be the only way to make it interesting for me. Rogues were not really fun in that game. Again, I'm either a healer or I'm a warrior boy.
Oh yeah.
I'd never
Finish
be
the thing that's been haunting me for months.
nice. I'd never be mage in Dragon Age, so magic barely does shit to the later enemies. Mages are like the most broken class in every single game, though.
Yeah, no. Inquisition, you become a god as a mage.
Especially if you're the knight errant.
Oh my god.
And you can literally
fucking-
solo dragons by yourself because your barrier never goes down.
on the hardest difficulty, easy dragon fights. It's fucking heaven. I beat the game I beat the final boss without taking damage.
Then the most broken class in probably all of Dragon Age was probably the Arcane Warrior class and Origins. It's like, ah yes, well if we take the mage's one weakness of making them physically weak and squishy and letting their intelligence score be their like requirements for heavy weapons and armor. Oh yeah, and we'll also give them a move where 75% of the chance they just don't take damage.
Perfectly balanced.
Yep. That's why if you ever see like somebody that I've seen multiple people play the game and every single character in their party is an arcane warrior. It's disgusting. Disgusting. Shout outs to any of my my freaks out there that played the shapeshifter class in Origins. I'm a spider. It was so like, I get what they were going for with Morgan's class, but you can't really cast any of your broken spells if you're an animal. Like, maybe it's for like if someone gets up in your grill, but at that point you're a mage and you can just kill them. Oh wait a minute, I'm a mage! Let me just cast the very first like ice spell in the game that just freezes them and I can just run away until my tank builds aggro again. I think the funnest build though was in Funny Enough Dragon Age 2, where the Berserker, their whole thing is while they're raging, they get a damage buff based on the percentage of stamina they still have. But every hit takes off like 2 stamina. And they have skills that fully replenish your stamina. So and one is like it has no cooldown, it's like 5% stamina, so you can just sit there and headbang to get your damage buff back. Going to play Senran and Kagura, huh? Oh, I've played it before on stream, way back in the day. But we might play some more of it. Then you play my girl Ikaruga.
So,
Which is basically Virgil. All I gotta say, my heart either goes out to Rin, you know, the teacher. Maybe Rin or Daijoji, and for some reason I have, like, an illogical love for Shiki. We need to find you your Senran and Kagura waifu, Vulcan. It's probably what's her name, the chick with the short white hair.
probably.
Or maybe Yumi. Yumi's the fan favorite. Go like ice kimono princess. I do love me Daidoji though. She's just fucking ripped as shit and she just punches everybody.
The perfect woman.
The career actually admitted to designing the game around men's desires. The man is not a coward. What was it? He also said something like, everyone likes boobs. Boobs are a universal desire or something like that.
Even women want boobs.
Exactly. Have you seen the VTuber spheres? They're all canonically also, like, bisexual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Myself real quick.
You never get me in there, though. I say, and then probably like 5 years later, I'll probably doing like femboy ASMR for money. Look, now all I'm saying is 20 tigers is 20 tigers. I will
Alright,
say,
let's discuss how to create war crimes.
ah, yes. First, we teach cats how to carry pipe bombs.
Second, we put a Polish man with a nuke in the center of Nazi Germany and see what happens.
Ah, yeah, sure, Polish man. Would you like to reenact Megaton from Fallout? Where exactly? Germany.
say less. Ooh. So, in interesting news, I finally got my rifle from my parents
Mm-hmm.
because I just looted their fucking house because they're gone and I want my shit back.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, I hate the sight on it. Like, I don't know if you know anything about like weapon sights, but like iron sights, marksman scopes, other types of scopes, and then you have red dots.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hate red dots, and that's what my dad put on my fucking rifle.
Oh.
And he took off the iron sights, so I only have the red dot.
Oh.
Oh, it's so annoying, but it's such a beautiful rifle too. All I need is a rubber band and a screwdriver, and I can make it fully automatic.
That's another fad is YouTubers are starting to watch Kentucky Ballistics.
I love it. I love it. We need to weaponize the weebs. They're gonna fucking die out from not getting laid anyway. Might as well put them to use.
Hey, you gotta branch out their interests, you know? We're like that friend that's like, okay, yeah, our friend's socially, like, inept, so let's, like, try to introduce them to new things, to meet new people.
Ah, yes, guns. The next logical step.
Guns and Warhammer. It's like, look, buddy, you're a fucking
Cancel each other
weeb.
out.
Boy, you're a fucking weeb. We're gonna make you better. Alright, what are we gonna do? We're gonna talk about the Horus Heresy.
And his entire bloodline disappeared, ending at him.
You just throw, like, a very thick book down. What the fuck is this? This is the human factions. Wait, human factions? Yes, just that singular faction. We're going to go over every single Space Marine faction.
Huh.
Vulcan to enjoy Shadow Warrior. It's about a Chinese ninja with a bad mouth, katana, and a huge arsenal of guns. Literally Chinese Deadpool. His name's like Lo Wang or something. It's very, comedic, let's just say.
Yeah, I pulled it up online the second I saw it. Not my cup of tea. I don't like games like that.
All I can think about is that video of the news of, like, the plane crash. Like, and here's a list of the passengers. It was like, we too low, holy fook, bang ding ow.
That's fucking foul. Love to see it. Love to see it.
I think there's something on the news that was kind of like that a few nights ago. Can't remember what it was, though. I'm trying to think
Shit, what was it I
there's...
found earlier? I found something that was fucking hilarious earlier.
Oh, yeah. I guess I can put this on more than just my friends. For those that like indie VTubers of the smaller variety, I don't know why, but God has just decided to throw me a bunch of like smaller VTubers. And I guess I've now also decided that I'm gonna have like a monthly like book club thing, like, alright, here's the VTubers I found this month. So if you're interested in finding new VTubers, I guess join the Discord or something, I don't know. I'm very good at finding people VTubers they will enjoy. My friends can attest to this.
Don't broadcast that to the world. We don't need any more weirdos.
Look, all I'm saying is just give me your taste and I'll find you a waifu. Or husbando, I don't discriminate. I'm one of the few male VTuber enjoyers. I should preface that. Male non-femboy VTubers, because there's a lot of those too. Like a staggering amount. To the point where it's getting a little obnoxious. I feel bad for women out there that just want, like, you know, a beefcake of a man. You always got the like the yaoi anime pretty boys, and then you got the femboys. That's it.
Yep, no strong men allowed anymore. This is America.
Oh. It's like the one meme of like male body expectations back in the day is a picture of He-Man. There's like male body expectations now. What the fuck happened? And it's just Astolfo.
It's Astolfo or like some fucking 400-pound lard ass.
Anyway, I think it was male beauty standards is what it was.
And I'm sitting with a dad bod and it's looking great. I've just come to terms with the fact that I need my strength and vices.
My guy, you don't underestimate the power of the dad bod, okay? Because women get incredibly thirsty over the dad bod. Look at Phil Spencer.
Yeah.
They need all of
I
us
want to
to
know
be
what the psychology behind that is. That's a very, that's a terrible way to look at it. Most women are afraid of men that are that big. Like, genuinely.
I'd have to actually think about that one, because I can't just say it's like, oh, they're exhibiting what we call fatherless behavior. But...
No, there's
Yeah.
something desirable about having a very strong man, but at the same time, I've been told this by multiple women. So, take that with a grain of salt. But they're genuinely afraid of them. Like, my ex told me she was afraid of me for a bit when I came back from training because I was just fucking the strongest I've ever been.
I mean, I can see that as like... I mean, obviously, like, you don't know the person that could hurt you. But at the same time, that's probably not a healthy mentality to have when you first see somebody.
Yeah, that's a very, like, there's some deep-seated trauma there, to say the very least.
Yeah. I mean,
It's surprisingly common.
Well, I wonder how much this has to do with, like, what's been instilled in young people when it comes to relationships nowadays, you know?
That's a good point.
Because it is not healthy. Because God knows how many women are out there in like their mid-30s, they're lonely, and the only companion they have is their cat in their shitty apartment as they eat cold Chinese takeout.
Yeah, no, from what I've noticed, it's normal. It's mostly brought on by social media and dating apps and shit, because it enforces avoidant behavior constantly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sad whenever I see it now. It's like congrats, you have a successful career, and you make a lot of money. Are you happy? No? No? Okay, yep. You feel like a winner? You feel like you made right choices? I was actually watching wrestling with my parents earlier, and there's like this like kind of like I guess like sexual tension between like this one wrestler and this one female wrestler. And she was talking about like how like it's gonna be over for them because she's gotta win a championship. But like you know you can still win the championship belt, right? And be together. That's not mutually exclusive. But yeah. It's like I got stink eye once in one of my sociology classes because there's like I can't remember what brought it up, but it's basically this is around the time of like I think it was a movie called Moms. There's like a bunch of divorced moms in their 30s like getting drunk off their fucking ass and acting like a bunch of dumb college students. And you know, it's supposed to be like a comedy. And I brought it up in class like, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that because I mean it's kind of sad if you think about it, right? It's like you have these grown-ass adults that are recently divorced. It's a horrible thing for multiple people. And, you know, now they're acting like a bunch of dumb kids when they have responsibilities. And they play it off as, like, a comedy thing you should be proud of. Like, yeah, like, you know, like, yeah, you go, girl. But all I can think about is like, wow, this is a sad life right now. I don't think we should be laughing at this.
No, but we will anyway.
Yeah. I shouldn't say laugh at it. I should say we shouldn't, like, cheer for it. Or, like, applaud it. Needless to say, I got stink eye in a lot of my sociology classes because sociology is such a bullshit course.
I mean,
Like,
it always is, though. It's actual bullshit.
yeah. Yeah, okay, it's like the study of, like, you know, how large groups interact with each other, and there's psychology there, which is the part I enjoyed. You know, like, why you should never realistically go to a protest, because that many people psychologically just turns them all into fucking animals. It's
It's
just...
so easy to just lose your fucking head.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, because let's be real, colleges, as much as they like to claim they're like bastions of like intellectual pursuits, they're very biased. So if you have the right opinions, your stuff gets added to the curriculum. Right. I was actually thinking about this the other night, how fucking awful it was, where I literally had to put down on a test to graduate and make my parents proud.
Or anything else.
Yeah. Like, I went to college because I was like the first in my family to go to college. My parents were proud of me, and that was how I was gonna like get a future and, you know, break out of like the blue collar field my family has always been in. And I had to fucking sit there and I had to write down that the reason this problem existed was because of white men. I had to put down that I was the fucking problem, and that just disgusted me. And I couldn't do anything about it if I wanted the grade. College is... Not to mention, college is just a fucking scam to get your money. Here's the colleges I've been to, and I've been to like a private like university. That's how I finished my degree. It was always like this thing, right, of like you gotta be smart to get into college. No, you don't. Why would they reject you for being dumb when they can just take your money also? You know?
Yeah. I'm sorry to switch up the topic so suddenly, Hawke, but
No, you're good.
Kazuki, can you please elaborate on that? Why do you think that we're that much closer to complete annihilation? Actually, why would complete annihilation benefit anybody? Like, why would that be initiated?
I can say this about post-apocalypse and the draw to it is like basic like things of society no longer function, so there's kind of a freedom to it, you know? There's also kind of a savagery to it as well, if you go with like a lot of darker ones.
Yeah, but I subscribe. Well, I don't even subscribe to this idea. I just believe it because I have the facts behind me. A nuclear war, or like a World War III, is not gonna happen the way people think it is. It's not gonna be a nuclear war.
You know, we're
If there's
technically
no-
also... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna go on a tangent, so you can just butt in real quick.
I was gonna say, Kazuki, you do realize we evolved from animals, right?
Yeah. So, and going on that, why would we want to nuke ourselves into oblivion for that? Because the world will not heal properly. It will not heal really at all remotely to how it is now, or
It's like
how
the-
it was a few thousand years ago.
It's like the Krogan
All
from
that's
Mass
gonna push
Effect.
it up.
They went to war with each other and they fucked their planet up. Now they live on a shithole forever.
Like, a nuclear war benefits nobody in any way, unless it's a small tactical environment where they use it to wipe out an army. That I can understand. Population centers and just everywhere else, that's a strategic victory, yes, but the cost down the line is just way worse. Like, if you want an area for its resources, you don't want to nuke the fucking region, because that's all wars going forward are going to be, are resource wars. That's
Yeah.
actually where we're already at.
Was it Mad Max where in Fury Road, where like the guy that owned all the water was a shitlord, so everyone just did what he said.
Yeah.
Or like, what was it during the autonomous zone thing? Where like just this random like iTunes rapper that had like 2 listeners just got a bunch of guns and he actually became a warlord in the autonomous zone.
It's just crazy to me. Why? It's really funny to me how the general public sees war too. Like, they see World War III as like, oh, it's the end of everything, blah blah blah. It's, you know. Well, riddle me this, Batman. In World War I, mustard gas was the equivalent of a nuclear bomb. Like, let's just kind of throw that out there. Saying it's the equivalent is definitely a hot take. There are definitely worse weapons used in World War I, but when mustard gas was first used, when people had no fucking clue what it was, they didn't use it on cities. They didn't use it against general populations. Minus, there's probably 1 or 2 cases where a military fort was pretty close to a civilian center. But that was used on armies. That was used on trench lines. That was used against the militaries. There's no reason to use weapons of mass destruction against an already feeble populace.
That reminds me of when the whole Russia-Poland thing first started. And everyone's like, oh, you know, we gotta go fight Russia. Like, well... Oh no, it wasn't Poland, it was Ukraine.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, then you go fight them. Well, no, hold on a second. No, you said you should go fight them. You're gonna need actual people to go fight and die in the battle. That's what you're basically saying.
Yep.
It's like that kind of reminds me of that scene in, Tombstone. Right, where like the entire mob is like ganging up on Wyatt Earp because they want to kill a guy. And he just pulls his gun like, alright, motherfucker. Yeah, I'm sure, yeah, no, 100% you all kill me, but you get to decide which of you I turn your head into canoe first before you take me down. And then
canoe.
actual line. And guess what? They all back down because they didn't want to be the person to die.
Nobody fucking does. Unless you're me and you just have a death wish, but dying in battle is the greatest fucking honor I could achieve.
Masculine urge to die for a cause.
I say as my potential new woman will outrank me significantly. She'll be the one sending me to die.
It'd be like that meme we saw last night of one of the Metal Gear games of the 2 old men beating the shit out of each other. Like, what are you
My
two doing?
God.
We're gonna give each other a warrior's death! Do you remember that one movie about a guy that gets so pissed at a White Castle he draws a handgun on the employees there? I can't say I have. There's like Harold and Kumar go to the White Castle. That's the only thing with White Castle that I know of. But I've never seen those movies. They're not my cup of tea. That's also really weird. Like, what was that one? It's like an Adam... It's like... Okay, it was an Adam Sandler movie, and then it became a Charlie Sheen TV show. I think it's like Anger Management or something.
What?
At least they had the same name. But, the thing I learned from the Adam Sandler one was, alright, look, there are 2 types of angry people. There's the one that yells at the cashier when they get angry, and then there's the cashier who takes it all, they go home, they sleep, and then they come in and they shoot up the store the next day. I still think about that line like once a week. People like this. As somebody that works in customer service, I have to take it as people blatantly just insult me to my face, even though they don't know shit. Even fucks up some thugs. What was that one movie where it's like I think it was like a Jordan Peele movie or something. It was like a comedy or something, and the entire thing was these guys were in the hood trying to rescue this kitten. And then obviously shenanigans ensue. It's
We
a
love
very
your
obscure.
shenanigans here.
Yeah. The other movie, Don't Be a Menace, drinking your juice in the hood or whatever.
Fucking Christ.
My favorite scene in that movie that all occasions pop into my head is like, man, he's like the first brother in the hood to go to college, and literally as soon as he says that, a car pulls up and he gets killed in a drive-by going up the college steps.
No
What?
fucking way. I found my old playlist. I found my
Ooh.
COVID playlist.
Ooh, do tell what's in
Yes!
there.
Yes. Right now I got Beach Boys, but it gets better.
I'm expecting a lot of like early 2000s white girl music because for some reason that just gives you superpowers.
No, but I got bands that have been dead for years that are obscure as hell too.
I wonder what that's like.
Oh, it's so nice. I feel powerful again. This was my War Thunder playlist back in the day.
I knew a guy that I think he played Lord of the Rings Conquest, and it was some Lord of the Rings game, and he had like this just random playlist, and one of the songs was "Beer from My Horses." It's like, I mean, obviously, you hear that name, you immediately think it's one of the biggest redneck country songs ever.
Yeah.
And
No, it's like pop country.
he just had that on there as it was like Aragorn was charging the army of darkness. Well, what's up, Kane? Yes, and Tism is confirmed. And his...
Damn,
I don't know why,
I get
but...
called out the second he fucking shows his face.
Yeah, he's like, listening to that, and Beer from My Horses comes on. He's like, man, that was the most, like, pumped I've ever been. He's like charging out there, going like, yeah, Beer from My Horses. It's some dumb shit.
See, what I like putting on is some Fountains of Wayne, and then just fucking flying headfirst into the enemy.
Is that the one that did Stacy's mom?
Yep.
What was the other, like, 2000s nerd band? Was it... It was Weezer, that's it. You ever see... What was that song? I think it's called Pork and Beans by Weezer. You ever see the music video for that?
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's just a bunch of memes around that time, like Leave Britney Alone. That guy that does like a bunch of dances. It's great. I can't heard War Thunder. The timing was perfect. Making us pay for these expansions. Funny enough about Final Fantasy XIV was I was ranting about it before I went live here with Vulcan. Because the fan base is just so fucking stupid that they actually beg for microtransactions. And what happened? I'll tell you what happened. The seasonal like cosmetics you could get for free by playing the fucking game, they removed those entirely and they made them microtransactions that you can only buy in the store. So good fucking job, fanbase. Claptures or whatever the Twitch says. You did
God.
a dumb.
The radar bitch is yelling at me. There's something happening.
Speaking of autism, that take. Yeah, I like the lore of Final Fantasy XIV, but I can never play that game. Every time I hear, there's just like this weird disconnect when I hear people play, like, yeah, man, I love this game. Great, should I play it? No, it's fucking awful, and I want to buy a rope after every time I play. Okay, is there any... When does it get good in the game? Already know about 100 hours after you beat the main game and like 2 other expansions. Why do you play this?
Perfectly balanced.
So much work put in it, they would not. I don't know much about the DLC, but... Like I said, what I do know about the game is that those little fucking munchkins... Yeah, the little, like, halfling people, those are the worst war criminals in the entire world. They have done horrible, horrible things in the name of war. I think I've told you about this one, Vulcan, of the necromancy gas,
Oh, you probably have.
where there was like two warring brothers in like the desert region, and so what one decided to do is like, okay, we'll just block their people from leaving their city, we'll lock them in, and then we'll throw these magic gas bombs so they all suffocate and die horribly, and then they reanimate into zombies and kill their loved ones.
Damn.
These were basically the halflings, Vulcan, that made this plan. They're also the people that caused, like, the sixth end of the world by using so much magic that elements got out of balance and flooded the entire world, like Noah's Ark. Also, who created black magic, you know, the fireballs and shit, and also consorting with demons. Why we let them live? I don't know. I'm saying. The big, like, shark people with the big shark mommies, I'm just saying, you know, they're probably a bit cooler. I mean, yeah, they got some pirates. But they ain't as bad as those little fuckers. What are the big ones called? The Rogadine? Anyone that knows? I know a few people that are like the shark people, like, they're like the sailor people, they're like the big ones, they can be like blue or red. I assume they're like shark people or something. Let me actually look that up. Not shark at all. Oh, that's right, they got weird things too, like the people that look like dragons aren't related to dragons whatsoever. FF14 races. What's her name? Like something something blue fistwin? I have it. Okay, here we go. Rogadine. Yep, that's it. Sea wolves and Hellsguard. They have like the pirate seafaring coastal people, and then they have like the volcano people. Lalafell, that's those little fuckers' names. Just big plots. All them being magic war criminals is not 14. What, the Lalafells? Yeah, that's what I saw in the lore videos. It's FF11. What? Because I know the one I heard was like the desert region for 14. The other MMO. Let me look up the race, because isn't that kind of confusing with 14 and 11? F11 races. Official website. Yeah, like they still have like the Mithra, Ilvan. They renamed the Rogadine kind of, at least the Gulka look like them. Yeah, and the Mithra is just still the cat people, so these races are pretty much the same, they just kind of rename them, it looks like. So... 9... Elevzin... Ikote... Here, or Hume.
Oh no.
What's up?
Placements for the Drake image.
Oh no. What could possibly be more powerful than this Drake image right now?
Just you wait, there's a few I can choose from.
What are we playing tonight? We're playing Moonring.
No, he's not. He's lying to you. It's a fucking podcast until 1 a.m. Came here for games. Nah. Change in management.
You know, sometimes it just happens. Yeah, but I like the just chatting segments. They're nice.
That's all you get now, motherfucker. That's what rakes in the viewers. That's what rakes in the money.
Yeah.
My whole half a penny a year.
One of the main bad guys was the witch who did the necro stuff from 11. Stydia, 2, eSIM. Video games are nice, but also just chatting and having a good time. As we're here for fun. Yeah, I can't tell you, like, I think it was last week. I had such a shitty fucking day at work. It was awful. I just wanted to curl up and just go to bed. But I streamed, and the whole day was made. Felt good. I gotta play more things than Digimon. I can't just be like a Digimon YouTuber.
Every now and then. I go on a walk.
Yeah. Smell the roses, touch grass. Unless you're playing Pokemon and you're doing bad things with grass types. And don't touch grass.
Oh, I wonder, is this a good replacement?
How do you go from Buff Jesus to that?
It's called I Went to My Phone from when I was in high school.
Is that Elon?
No, it's a fucking YouTuber.
Oh wait, hold on. I think I can make this better for the both of us. If I can log in here. Okay. Let's see here. It's loading. My eyes. That's a white screen. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this later. I don't want to type in my password. Just in case. But it was gonna be the Derpina.
I have the OG image still.
Oh, that's beautiful.
We're gonna keep that for a while.
Look at you staring in my eyes with the malice.
It pretty much goes. That's pretty much the entire stream.
Hawke, what the fuck did you just say? Look, all I'm saying is, maybe the Eldritch Horror waifu ain't that bad. That sounds like heresy. Can't see the face, but it looked like to me.
You know what? After my little, I talked about this with Hawke a little bit earlier. Hawke, I'm just gonna say you might want to cut this, depending on how in depth I go with what I'm talking about.
What's the other band that does like a bunch of Crusader stuff? Is it Powerwolf? Or like, my biggest complaint about that band, if it's who I think it is every single one of their fucking songs has the word "and" in it. It's like AC/DC writing. I don't like AC/DC because 95% of their song lyrics is the title of the song. They're a monster. Careful when you say monster, that raises my antennae.
Femboy alarm's going off.
Oh no. Yeah, go get the bat. Not the yaoi bat. Get the actual, like, physical bat. They're vicious. And they're catty. Or as we were talking about Elder Scrolls, no, opera. The Pelinol opera. I don't know why I said penile. God bless Pelinol Whitestrake. Actually doing God's work. Killing the filthy bitch ear elves. You're a somewhat sane cryptid. Just watch out when I go sicko mode.
Oh my god, Hawke, if I got my cryptid status, we'd be fucked. Just you hear a Red Bull in the distance, and it's just all hell breaks loose.
Yep.
You hear the Red Bull, there's already 20 dead.
SCP like 511 something something that spells out Vulcan. It's a normal man, but whenever you open a can of Red Bull, he teleports behind you and snaps your neck like Peanut.
Jesus fuck. That's pretty fucking metal. That's really fucking metal, actually.
Just specifically Red Bull.
If I ever get to where I want to be in the military, I hope I'm known for that. Red Bull, not snapping people's necks. That'd be cool too, but I can't say that on stream.
You just get like the nice DBZ teleport behind you sound effect.
Oh my god.
You just take the Red Bull in their hand at lightning speed and put like a grenade.
Oh my god, and they go to drink it not noticing. It's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
God, now to think about the Flash would do some fucked up shit if he was a psychopath. He'd probably do that shit. What's to stop the Flash from shoving a grenade up your ass? He's too fast, you can't stop him.
That's a terribly sound point.
Here's another one for you that will scar all of you, so plug your ears. Because of Wolverine's super powerful regeneration, he's uncircumcised.
I've heard worse, unfortunately. And it might have been from you.
Yep. I bring the cursed knowledge sometimes. What's the one story of, this one's wild, Vulcan. This is like an actual, like, thing, apparently. I don't even know what part of this to start at. Because it's kind of circular. Alright, do you want to hear about the husband or the wife first?
Husband.
Okay. So, there's this man, he was in the Navy, he's no longer in the Navy. And, you know, he's a respected community man. He got busted for going into a convenience store. Or a grocery store. And, jerking in public to some minors. And...
average New Yorker.
Yes, the average Navy man, you know? But, it didn't stop there. Because they took his phone. They might have found, like, some kiddie stuff on there, I'm not sure. But what they did find, and what I know they found, was, him and his wife... not his wife, with a Great Dane. And I will not elaborate upon that any further. That was
Average
such a...
New Yorker.
It's just a domino effect. 80 billion elves wasn't enough.
One of those is...
Right.
Yeah, one of those is terrible, and the other is an actual crime against humanity.
Yeah.
And they're very interchangeable depending on your state, evidently. Or country, even.
Both are sins, and Jesus just looks down on you disappointed. Yeah, that was a wild one. What's some other, like, weird stuff I've heard about recently? Trying to think. Going into my mind palace.
Oh, Trump's going to jail.
I
Not
did
to
hear
get
about that.
Political on stream, but... Yeah.
Old
Even
Testament.
though Biden has also committed high treason, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah. I hear that the one thing that trial did was it made everyone just kind of realize, like, wow, this was a sham. Granted, I don't know anything about the trial because I don't give a shit about politics. Like, yeah, I'm angry if they, like, cheat in the election, considering my state, but, like, the court systems was always kind of broken.
I mean, I think the thing that pisses me off the most is they have nothing left for the rest of the year to divert our attention from the election. There's nothing.
Yeah, because you know what's gonna...
Oh, I want to see what bullshit they pull.
If they bring up, like, they try to, like, seem like COVID's coming back up, everyone's gonna know. But I don't know if they don't care if they're blatant or not enough now.
And it's not like it's gonna fucking do anything either.
He who lays with an animal should be killed, and the same with the animal. It goes for the Pokemon. But what about the Gardevoir? They're intelligent. They passed the Harkness test. Fuck, man, they're smarter than you. Me. They're definitely smarter than me. There's like Alakazam has the brain of like a supercomputer. It's like 1,000 IQ. Canonically written in the Pokédex. Might also have once been a human. Oh yeah, there we go. Did you guys know that there's now a upgraded version of the Vaporeon copy pasta? There's now the Umbreon copy pasta. I will not read it on stream. Maybe in Discord if we're feeling spicy later.
Huh.
No. Oh god, no. That's a shame, because, you know, Umbreon was my favorite evolution. Mainly for sentimental reasons, because, I used to play Pokemon Coliseum with my dad. And he didn't really, like, play Pokemon games, but that was the one we played together. And he liked the Espeon, because you start with an Espeon and an Umbreon. And so I just kind of gravitated towards the other one. I'll tell you that my favorite Pokemon, though, is Nidoqueen. Someone would go to the emo-looking fox thing. Dude, all I'm saying is if they do, like, all these, like, region variants, you know, like Meowth's a normal type, where you go to Alola and there's a different type of Meowth. It becomes dark type. Or becomes a fucking Viking in the British region. Just saying, if you go like dark or ghost type Gardevoir, you get the goth waifu GF. They'll be making money. And you know that's what they do. Look at Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Everyone in that game is a fucking supermodel.
Prey off the horny people.
Yes.
The ones who have never felt the touch of a woman.
They've learned their lesson after Cynthia. They did the fish fox. They would go for the emo one. Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing, right? It's like Espeon, like the whole cop boss is like how tanky Espeon was. So, or not Espeon, Vaporeon. So they would obviously go for the defensive Umbreon. Alright, yeah, they have Gothorita. Yeah, but it's not Gardevoir though. Like Gardevoir is like iconic. Maybe make her kind of look like what's her name, Sadako from the Ring. Because you know people done horrible things to that ghost. I thought it was kind of funny. Just think about like a ghost girl comes out of your TV and then becomes your girlfriend. You know, I don't know. What other weird ones? We never actually did finish the Pokemon Smasher Pass twice, because the site just keeps breaking before I can finish it.
It knows. It needs to not be finished.
This motherfucker pressed smash too many times. The horrible things he said about Muck. We need to stop him.
Oh no, not Cum, the Pokemon.
Behold, did you know that Ekans and Arbok is snake and cobra spelled backwards? Wow, what's Muck backwards?
Don't ask stupid questions.
Ferris. So, who's your girlfriend there, champ? Son, it's complicated. She came from the TV.
Father
Oh.
loads 357 with religious intent.
Son, what are you doing? I thought you were going to go pick up your girlfriend. I am. Turns on TV. She just like does that weird like horror movie movement and starts cracking outside of the TV. That's her.
I would kill myself immediately upon seeing that. There's nothing in this world anymore.
Oh, I'm sure she's a nice girl. It's not always about the looks, Vulcan.
I'm still killing myself.
See, that's the thing about being
It
a
came
monster
from a TV.
fucker. And?
It's not biological. It's wrong.
Is it better than a body pillow? I think so. She's a... Well, she's not. She might not be living if she's a ghost. Well, you know, she's sentient, and, you know, she has feelings. Might just be rage and vengeance, but, you know. There is a lot of fan art of Sadako. They even made a hentai about it.
Jesus fuck.
Well, it was kind of
That's
funny.
not surprising.
And I had to stop halfway through because, so what the plot was is like, hi, you know, guy plays like VHS tape, you know, typical ring shit. And she comes out of the TV and she's a cute anime girl, like, hi, I'm so-and-so from the cursed tape. Hey, do you want to make a porno for the internet? Because no one really watches VHS tapes, and I can't curse them if they can't watch. And guy's like, yeah, sure. But then halfway through, she turns into a lolly, and then his entire life is ruined. Because now everyone knows he's like a kitty diddler. Don't trust ghosts, you gotta verify first. That's why you gotta take him out to dinner first.
Just don't trust women. Fuck men instead.
Knowing the backstory of that, all that is fucked. Yeah, that was real fun, where she was super obsessed with a married man that had a pregnant wife. And then her jealous husband murdered her and their kid. And then he murdered the pregnant wife of the guy. And then the ghost came back and murdered him. And then murdered the guy she was obsessed with. Good times. Circle of life. This is imagining like, that horrifying scene of the woman just like lifts her blanket and the chick's just under her like, oh, hi honey. How you doing? I did find this one dojin, and I gotta go find it again. Because it was, okay, so there was a monster girl where she had like a sheet over her head and just like a normal guy, and there's just like a cute relationship, like woman's coming up all scared like, oh hi honey, it's good, thank you for greeting me as I come in. You know, she's like kind of like, what are you doing under there, you silly? And then all of a sudden it's just like cuts to this like super detailed like sci-fi dark like it was like blam shit basically, and there's like this cyborg dual hand chick bounty hunter, and she's just killing the scumbag. Like, all right, what's the bounties on this guy? No, that's not exciting. He's gotta have something on him. Oh great, cool, we can kill him now. And it was so badass and out of the blue, and then it cuts back to the story of like the wholesome monster girl stuff. That was the most badass surprise I got. Religion of Japanese Ghost Woman who's into little boys. She's, oh yeah, they also did a tie on that. The super tall woman in the sundress that's Lady Dimitrescu from not Silent Hill, Resident Evil Village is based off of.
Huh.
That was, man, I love that. It's like, so you're telling me Resident Evil Village wants me to be afraid of this 9-foot tall vampire mommy that's gonna chase me around and lift me up by my neck with one hand? My guy, that's my dream. Why would I run? None of you without sin. Oh no, I'm fully well aware I'm going to hell.
I'm gonna go kicking and screaming.
But what is it? There was, I think it's at the VGAs. I think the voice actress for Lady Dimitrescu actually won like Character of the Year or something like that. I was like, I don't get it. What's the big deal? Like, you haven't been on the internet, my father. I would show you, but you might lose faith in me. Or respect me a little bit more. He's interesting. I probably mentioned this, that my dad is, he had a phase of, like, trying to find anime waifus. He was, we own the entire series of Monster Musume. What else was there? He likes Sekirei, and I can't blame him. Sekirei is pretty nice. I think it all started with SAO. I watched some, like... Oh, one he really liked was How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. And, the cat girl was his favorite. And what was the other one? There was one he really liked. I think it's like called Ari Fruetta. It had like the vampire lolly. He really liked that one. I was more for the dragon lady in that show, which is a very funny scene, Vulcan. It's supposed to be like this like evil dragon that keeps killing people. And I'm trying to describe how to what the guy's like powers were. Well, he could basically, like, if he understood the components, he could make guns basically in like metal. And so how did he beat the dragon? He tied it down, and then he proceeded to punch metal rods up its ass until it relented and submitted. Only problem, that kind of turned the dragon into a masochist.
Oh no, it's a win-win.
Oh no, super sexy, curvy dragon woman in a kimono likes me and is a masochist. Oh no. It's that trope of like they're super horny all the time. That level of masochist, like darkness.
Nothing but victories.
I found the Isekai is actually decent. The protagonist isn't OP. He's good at healing magic, that's it. That better not be Redo Healer. We've talked about that one, Vulcan. That's the one that actually made you, like, gasp. It's not Redo. His powers were such bullshit. Like, ah, yes, I can use my healing powers to shapeshift. Okay, look. I've thought about, like, healing powers and, like, life energy imbuement for writing and how creative it can get. Shapeshifting was not one of them. It's called Chiyu Maho. Why does that sound familiar? But like I can get like healings, right? It's like was in JoJo's. He put life energy into inanimate objects. Like, shit, we need to send a message to that boat. What do? We can't contact them through the radio. I know. I'll turn this life preserver into a fish and put a note on it. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Well, I feel like Redo of a healer, and granted, I haven't watched it. I feel like it's just whatever they wanted it to be. I just said it's healing. Like, half power can make you shapeshift into cancerous mass. Or, you know, like, physical, like, enhancement. Things like that.
I see no problem.
Yeah. There's different factions and stuff, that's cool. Yeah. I hear factions and my mind goes to Overlord, which I really just did not give a shit about after a while, because for some reason I thought it was a good idea to deviate the entire story away from Ainz and go to like this bullshit like politics of society. Like, okay. Like, yeah, it's great that the butler dude is rescuing this slave and is actually being a legitimately good guy with a bunch of assholes around him. But we kind of lost the plot along the way, guys.
Just a
has
tad, you know.
characters, they all have death flags. I mean, that's what the manga does too. It all ties in. Yeah, but at some point it's like, okay, I've been kind of waiting long enough. When are we gonna get back to Ainz? When? Real question. When are we getting back to Albedo? I know she's not in the books, and that's why she never really has any plot points. But we need to get back to Albedo. Albedo is why we're here. When anime characters have obvious death flags, sometimes foreshadowing is obvious. Yeah.
Generally always is.
Yeah. Mine's is boring though. Yeah, he can. That's always the problem with like the overpowered characters is you know they're gonna win. He's an overpowered glitch, yeah. There was one, I think it was like called Game of Familia, I think I was reading a little bit of. And I was like, okay, this guy just unleashed like his secret form. And he's like, ah yes, I have the second strongest like water spirit in the world. Like, you can't possibly beat me. And like, oh yeah, well I have the strongest water spirit in the world. and the strongest fire and the strongest earth spirit.
I'm the gayest gay man that ever gayed. You cannot defeat me.
Yeah, it's really weird because how they portray like him getting those spirits is like you have to make a great sacrifice if you want great enough power. And, you know, he kind of comes out all fucked up physically, but that really didn't matter. Beta's mid, her sister's better. I don't know who her sister is. I pushed that out of my memory. Dude, Larry conquered nations and forced their strongest warriors to serve him. Like, I get overpowered protagonists, it's a power fantasy, but it's gotten to the point now where I can just tell that the writers are putting their dick in their pages. And that's not, that's, I feel like the anime industry is just so fucking inbred because of isekai now. Everything's an isekai, but with like a slight twist. There's literally one where a guy's a fucking vending machine Vulcan.
That's not surprising. That's much
Beta.
better than it was.
Power fantasy can be good if done right, but unfortunately the bar is not very high. Because anime studios want work, so they'll take whatever. Ubedo. Good lord. Oh, hold on. You didn't say she was a redhead. Hold the phone.
Don't give in to terrible writing.
No, don't. Don't let it slide either. Always strive for excellence.
Men are easily swayed by an attractive woman, it would seem.
Writers are too afraid to try something new. Yeah, but if they do something new, then they'll probably be the next big thing. Like, what if, you know, the protagonist wasn't a little dense bitch, and he was actually a Chad, you know? I'm just saying, what if he was a bad boy? And not generic anime high schooler number 1759. You know, because that's the thing about like harem anime is like they'll never get to the answer of like who's he gonna marry and date, because no matter what happens, it's not gonna be your waifu, and that's gonna make you mad. Gredo. Look that one up too. And so they always beat around the bush. And what's the one that is like a bad example of this was My Dress Up Darling. Obviously the show is about what's his name, Gojo and Marin. Gredo. And like obviously the show is about their romance. Oh, I see what you mean, yes. Gredo is pretty hype. But they still throw in like a shit ton of other waifus that have a thing for the protagonist. It's like, why are we even here? Oh, right, because we need to cater to the fucking audience. And make a bunch of waifus so people like buy our shit, even though it's blatantly obvious that that arc is gonna fail. Door from Fear and he said to defeat someone stronger than yourself. Keep attacking. Yeah, it's like, hey, if you can get back up. It's like Dark Souls. Like, what was the other one? It's like, Komi can't communicate. Obviously, it's gonna be Tadano and Komi, but they have to throw in that, like, love rival, what was her name, Monbagi? That has a thing for Tadano. Obviously, that's not gonna work, because, you know, her name's on the fucking title. But you do it anyways, because you gotta build the waifus. That's what people come for. You said the subplot was boring. But honestly, I like that bit so much. Yeah, no, I like Seb. I think it was cool that he was like the one person that like stood up to everyone's bullshit and like corruption. But it just feels like a really long detour with how it's put in. And for flashy powers and over-the-top battles. Guys, is what I'm about to say still a hot take, or has people finally started to realize? Demon Slayer was mid. The only thing that show had going for it was the just crazy good animation. Because I watched it, and it was like, okay, the protagonist has like 7 different like special properties about him above everybody else. It's like, ah, yes, he has a special ability to smell. Like, ah, I see. You chose the metal that gives you a black katana. That's very rare amongst even the demon hunters. Like it's basic shonen stuff, but the art style and animation was so good that everyone thought it was amazing. Its fan base is cringe as hell too. My hero is mid. Yeah. I will say this, All Might was the perfect example of why people would still love Superman. Because it's basically what he was. Also, Momo was fantastic, and I love her. And also the Rabbit Girl. I think everybody loves the Rabbit Girl. You've seen the Rabbit Girl, right, Vulcan?
I think so.
Dark-skinned Rabbit Girl.
From My Hero?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everybody loves her, and I don't blame them. I'm also a fan of Midnight. Just Naruto, like. I like Bleach, though. Bleach was good at the start because, you know, it kind of has some substance to it, right? It's like moving on and death and all that. And then it kind of repeated itself too many times. And what is his name? Like Kite Kubo? He took the wrong advice when it came to writing. Was if he didn't have an idea, he would just make more characters and the plot would come to him. But the problem with that was like the end of the Ronkar or whatever you want to call them arc, right, with Aizen. That fight had like 30 fucking people in it, and it dragged on for so fucking long, and the series is already bad at pacing to begin with. There's a girl in Bleach that fucks men and then blows up their heads when she's done. I let Rangiku blow up my head. God bless that woman. She has the power of detonation. What was it, like, after they did the Aizen thing, they did like 2 more arcs of that kind of shit. The same thing of like, we gotta go save Rukia from the Soul Society, and we fight all the captains. Or Hime got kidnapped, we gotta go save her from the Arankars, and their equally distributed hierarchy of captains. And then they did it again afterwards, but I don't remember that one because I got bored at that point. Like, here's how bad the pacing was, Vulcan. You know, it usually takes like a lot longer to like animate a series. Because, you know, otherwise it's just like a guy writing the manga by himself, and he might have some help.
You don't rush it.
Here's how bad the pacing of the manga was. They had an entire series, like an entire season, of made-up shit by the animators called The Bounce. So they put that at the end of like the Soul Society thing, I think. And then the anime caught up to the fucking writer. Nice. So, like, the anime caught up to the manga, and then they had to make an entire another series where everyone's like super special weapon powers grew sentience. And that was pretty hefty too in terms of length. And they still fucking passed the mangaka. That's how shitty he was at pacing. And the grappa has that Ichigo went into the fray after his training done. This is, you know, all the time people just stand around and fight. It's like, Like, ah, yes, this captain is fighting this Iran car. We'll all just sit here and wait. No, kill them. Fight them. I mean, don't kill Iran car number 3. Let me find her name because she's super hot. Come on. What was her name? Bleach Iran car list.
That is very true.
Was it her? Was it Tyr Haribo? Facing still better than J.R.R. Martin's? He's never beaten those oh my god. Let's be real, he's never finishing Game of Thrones, guys. He had 20 fucking years or something like that to finish it, and he's still not doing it.
Dude, the TV show ended in the fucking worst possible way. It was actually the worst. I was so fucking mad.
With the new profile pic. Like what's it like the guy that wrote Berserk? He never finished it because he was too busy with like his Idolmaster shit or something. That's why it took 10 years for Guts to get off the fucking boat. Or Hunter x Hunter, where that's also probably never gonna get done. Let's be real, guys. It's been like 10 years since that guy worked on it, I think. Despite how it's like his magnum opus. Phil Patrick Star. Oh god, I've been doing a Cyber Sleuth Let's Play on YouTube. You know, to make it a bit more digestible. And I always start like previously on Digimon Cyber Sleuth, and I just throw in like a meme. A lot of them so far I feel like I've been SpongeBob.
Checks out.
Like, in one episode I fight like a blue Marimon, and then he shows up as a random encounter later. And all of a sudden you just hear, how many times we gotta teach you this lesson, old man? One Piece is the greatest offender right now. At least he writes shit consistently. It's not like a big hiatus. And I think he finally might be ending it. What's that?
Saw another car crash on Instagram 2 seconds after opening it.
Love to see it. Way too long, and people are saying it's going for 10 plus years. One Piece has been going on for longer than I've been alive. Let that sink in. Think.
The art style's changed 1,000,001 fucking times.
Have you seen how that guy has drawn women over the years?
Yeah.
They just begin more and more cartoony. Yeah, they just look like Jessica Rabbit. Yeah, it's getting stale. I know there's a lot of people that still love the stuff that's coming out, so at least the quality would be consistently good. That's all I ask. As long as it's still good, then it's fine. Because Japan has a thing of that, of like... I think there's like one like 5-minute long TV series that's been going on for like over 60 years. Crazy. They don't pump and dump like us here in the US. Hear that, ladies? Well, of course, you know, we pump and dump, but, you know, the men over there aren't getting any action from what the studies have shown. You at least get something over here. The weakness of every man, a cute Asian girl. You know? Even the gay ones.
Oh, check Stream VC.
What do we got here? What is this? Gives me chills. It's decent, too many people die. Dude, me and Vulcan and Doom, we were watching some, like, original Hellsing the other night. And, god, older anime was so much more gruesome. It is fantastic. I gotta watch MD Geist. I hear it's, like, laughable, but in, like, an over-the-top way. And there's just a scene of a guy's just head exploding. And they detailed those frames. It was great.
See, nah, you gotta watch Blood Sea. Blood Sea is totally a very non-violent anime.
Broken, I've watched Blood Sea. I know about those rabbits.
Yeah, we're not gonna mention it because I don't want to think about them.
Yeah, I thought like,
It's
oh,
that
this,
bad.
oh, this protagonist is super cute. Oh, I kind of like this. Oh my god.
And it only gets worse the more you watch.
Yeah.
It only gets worse.
What was this
Someone
one?
Animated every frame of that by hand.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That was made by Clamp, right? There's those horny women. But there was one I remember because back in the day when I was a teenager, we had the Funimation like TV channel, and so it would just play like Funimation anime like 24/7. And so I would like record a bunch of stuff at night and watch it in the morning before school. And there was one where it was, I can't remember the name, but it started with a flash forward. And it was like, but I should probably go chronologically. So a girl got taken in by this family, and they were like monster hunters. But like the older sister, who kind of like became like the adoptive sister, the foster sister, like a bunch of bad shit started happening, and her family lost prestige and stuff. And then she got murdered. And then she came back to life as a monster. And I shit you not, the series starts up with like another monster hunting group. Like, yeah, good job, guys. You know, we really kicked those monsters' asses. Guy drops his coffee. Oops, dropped my coffee. Gets his head cut off because the reason he dropped his coffee was because his hand got cut off. And they're all getting brutally murdered, and someone's got like a fucking like Metroid brain parasite who's blocking them from calling help. And they all just get murdered. And they go back like 3 months earlier. And then the kids go to normal. Oh, God, what were some of the anime I watched back in the day for that? I watched Dragnaut. I liked Dragnaut for obvious reasons as a teenager. I watched, funny enough, I did watch Jellyfish Princess. One I still love to this day, I watched Gungrave. And I loved Volcano. Volcano is like, if you ever get tired of someone going like, subs are superior to dubs, make them fucking watch Volcano. That is like the fucking peak American dub. Because it's like 1920s, like, Americana. And they go so fucking hard. It's great. Go protagonist jacuzzi splat. Wanna know why Ash is good anime protagonist? Because he's lost plenty of battles but never stops trying. Yeah, it became a big deal when he finally won. I just wasn't happy with his team because I had like 3 dragons on his team. That fucking abomination Dragovish. I've showed you that Pokemon, right, Vulcan?
You have.
The one where it's like Jurassic Park to the wrong way.
Yeah.
Where its giant maw is on its tail. I hate it, dude. I hate it so much. He's in a coma. Well, let's look at it this way, guys. Canonically, Ash might not have aged, like Red aged. And, you know, that whole 14-year-old Pokemon champ that we all played as in Fire Red and Leaf Green is now a very jaded adult.
Oh,
Misty did too. I don't think I ever really was that much into Misty. Although probably shocking nobody here who knows me. I honestly had more of a thing for Jessie. You know, the older woman.
I mean, fair enough, though.
Although we're talking like protagonists, 90s anime hits different. I fucking love 90s. That's all I'm watching now. But we're talking like, you know, Pokemon female protagonists. May was my girl from Gen 3, and maybe a little bit of Dawn. Dawn was cute too. No, if we're talking the games. Motherfucking Hilda. That Gen 5 Vulcan was when they did America as the setting theme. And she was she had the cool jacket, she had the baseball cap with the ponytail in the back end coming out. She had the fucking like ripped jean shorts. It's great. Record of Lodoss War is like Fire Emblem and Lord of the Rings combined. Well, Record of Lodoss War was a bunch of... One guy studied over in America, and he got a bunch of D&D books. I think it was 2nd edition. And then he brought it back over to Japan with him, and him and his buddies started playing together. And they said, well shit, dude, we could like make some books out of the stuff we've done. So for those that think that Deedly is amazing, and she is, keep in mind she was canonically played as a man in a tabletop game. Peak in the 90s, I watched some of Digimon Season 1 reboot. Oh god, it's bad. A little while ago, I watched the O2 English dub from back in the day, and I shit you not, it's like an abridged. Like, there's just like these weird scenes where like Mimi and Palmon are reuniting, and they're having like this heartfelt moment where they say they miss each other, and for some reason the camera shot out like way out in the field and you can't see them except for their shadows. And it makes me think like, okay, I'm missing some things from the Japanese side here. I watched some obscure animes. I've been going back to some of the like 90s stuff, like I need to watch AD Police Files. I want to rewatch Gunsmith Cats again because I fucking love Gunsmith Cats. Need to watch Bubblegum Crisis, but that one's not really obscure for 90s stuff. I tried watching Trigun again. I can't fucking stand Vash. She's such a little fucking bitch that refuses to kill people. In a fucking Western anime, basically. It's funny, because the whole thing about Vash Vulcan is like... He's got like the highest bounty on his life. So everyone's always like trying to find him. Or he's never actually killed anybody. And it's just because of his reputation, people keep trying to find him. And they just fuck up shit around him and he gets blamed for it. He's so goofy that it's like, there's no fucking way that's possibly Vash the Stampede. This fucker. What are some other ones? I need to go back and watch D Gray Man again. That is a series that's also probably never gonna be completed, even though it's amazing. Because I think the mangaka, I think she has like horrible health issues. So you might get like a chapter like once every like 3 months or something. And then they tried rebooting the anime, but she shut it down because the promotional material, she wasn't happy that it was like super gay between two characters. So she said, no, you're not doing this anymore. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's so good, dude. What is it? It's like... It's one of those, like, everyone gets, like, a unique superpower type thing. But how the bad guy does his work is, like, he goes to people who've lost somebody and are grieving. It's like, just say their name and I'll bring them back. And as soon as he does, he has one of his, like, demon skeletons take the body, turn them into a monster, murder the person that tried to bring their loved one back, and then, like, steals the body of the person that wanted their loved one back. It's fucked up, but it keeps working. I enjoy Kagero Project. Very cryptic.
I'm gonna pop out of here.
Alrighty, man. Take care.
Godspeed.
The gist is that these children with powers are stuck in a loop where one of their friends always dies and they try to prevent each other's deaths One of them always dies. What was that one? Another? Where, like, they all just brutally die, Final Destination style. I need to go back and watch Gungrave too. I fucking love Gungrave. It's a good, like, mafia story. It's so good. Our boy Brandon, he's letting himself get cucked so that the main man boss can find love. And he comes back from the grave. He basically, what is this? He basically pops up like Bahamut when people are feeling low. Yeah. It works every time, dude! And then the monsters start evolving. And basically becoming like the Hollows. Basically think Hollows if they had a shit ton of guns on them. Greyman's pretty good. And it was like that. It was around my teenage years when that was on, and it was like super, kind of like dark and edgy a little bit, so you know you can kind of like get your toes in there. Where's some other things that I used to watch? I watched some dot hack stuff. I watched like a mini. It was like a 3-episode like thing on that. I watched a lot of Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple. If you ever bitch about like overpowered anime protagonists, watch Kenichi because he gets his ass kicked most of the time. And you still root for the guy. Also, the Kunoichi chick is very nice. I wasn't really that big into Mew, despite how Mew was Mew. Serial Experiments Lane is trippy. I need to watch that. You don't need to watch that with how weird it is, because I don't know why, there was a point like a few months back where like I just kept getting Serial Experiments Lane stuff. Granted, I was also kind of when I was like getting in like cyberpunky like maidcore type stuff. I tell you, if the Discord ever populates, we need to have like an anime watch along. We watch some like good 90s shit, because I only bring out the best shit. You know, I bring out like Gunsmith Cats, where it's just these two ladies in Chicago being mercs, and they got a sweet ass fucking car, and they gotta go stop Russian assassins. You know. Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna be like So some background, I used to watch stuff with a buddy, because that's all he would want to do. And we watched things like, you know, Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out. That was fine. What else was there? He really loved Josh and the other thing that creator made was like a snake girl. He watched a lot of Love Live, so I had to watch some of that. Ooh, 80s. 80s is pretty good too. Like, I see Bubblegum Crisis, and I think I just want to fucking watch this so bad. Dominion Tank Police was another one. That was good. That was one of my thirst watch ones. I don't do a lot of anime where I think with my penis. Fucking weeb. Yeah, 2 different seasons I watched. I watched Sunshine and Aqua Wars with him. The only thing I remember from either of those was the plot was the same, and I think it was Mari that spoke English. Yeah, I watched Dominion Take Police because 2 cat girls on the cover. I think my next thirst one is going to be Do You Love Your Mom and her 2-hit multi-tech combos, for obvious reasons. Absolutely degenerate. Yeah, so I don't watch a lot of, like, at the cost of sounding a hipster, I don't watch a lot of mainstream stuff. Like, most of my watch list on Anime Wave, or my anime as it used to be, is, like, pre-2000s. Oh yeah, we also watched Burst Angel when I got to pick something. That was fun. Burst Angel was so good. It had mechs. It was a western. It was cyberpunk. It was a freak of the week a little bit. And all the ladies in it were fantastic. We should watch Dragon Ball together. That'd be a ride. Oh no, because we gotta watch the granddaddy of Dragon Ball. We gotta watch Dragon Ball GT. Gotta go on the Grand Tour. The Grand Tour, Grand Tour. I feel like when I was like a wee lad, I probably watched more Dragon Ball than Dragon Ball Z. GT first. Yeah, that's the one everyone loves, right? The one that's not canon anymore. Shout out to my boy Krillin though. He was a monk. And then he became a dad and he was out. Rest of GT ain't too bad, yeah. Our boy Krillin. If you really think about it, Krillin is technically the strongest human in the universe, if you think about it. Unless I'm missing something. I really kind of dropped off Dragon Ball after like the Buu saga. Or TN. Yeah. How many times did you watch Chaozu die? TN. Your little Chaozu buddy got murdered multiple times. Yeah, Tien is technically human, he's just got that weird eye. But you know, Krillin's where it's at. Everyone loves Krillin. And he got himself a wonderful wife. They're fantasy healers or badass monks. Yeah. Because of the mysticism, I imagine, and the spiritualism. Key and shit, yeah. Well, be careful, Key, if we're going like Guilty Gear. Automon got you? Oh, hold on. Allow. There we go. There we go. It is weaker. Yeah, that's kind of the thing, right? Is like... Unfortunately, Dragon Ball kind of just became the Goku and Vegeta story. It was always kind of the Goku story because, I mean, Son Goku. But once Vegeta showed up and the Saiyans became a thing, that was it. Because, you know, they kind of have like the bullshit, well, if I don't die in a fight, I just become stronger. Ooh, another one I gotta rewatch. This one's from my childhood. Who here ever watched Ronin Warriors? Fucking loved Ronin Warriors as a kid. You know, Gao Ji, Ryo the Wildfire, Sai of the Torrent, Kento of Hard Rock, Sage of the Halo, Ronin Estrada, White Blaze the Tiger. I mean, even when they got spotlight episodes, Tians gets hijacked by Roshi. Yeah. Roshi was the original badass, though. Was it there was one, like, movie where, like, I want to fight Master Roshi because he is the strongest in the world. And then Goku shows up and beats the shit out of him. Oh, God. I love Rose, she's a healer, and you know, also has super strength. Yeah. I had this one idea of, back when I was, like, kind of in, like, my, like, hard magic system phase, of where I watched things like Hunter x Hunter, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and things like that. I had this one idea for this character, like, do you have the power of life imbuement? You know, you can do things like heal people, you can increase their physical attributes, things like that. Great, what's the drawback? You literally cannot hurt anybody. You can punch someone as hard as you could, but all that would do would heal them. Oh shit, so I kinda need some backup. Yeah, or get really creative. I love healers for fun stuff. Yeah. I do have my old notes of like the hard power magic system. That is very shonen. I could throw it in the Discord if anyone's interested. Because I have like different categories. Very Hunter x Hunter kind of. I cannot pull up the 90-page Word document of just random powers that popped in my head during college though. That's a little hefty. Granted, it's also 90 pages because I also made stat radars. You can tell I'm a big fucking nerd when it comes to like power systems and shit. Just force their cells to go into hyperdrive before cell degradation and cause cancer. Yeah, there you go. You have a nice burst of energy. Oh, there you go, you're out. Obviously, like, there's shit you can probably do with, like, plants and stuff. Not in a fantasy world, buddy? What do you mean by that? I lost track of what I just said. I mean, your body still works the same. Yeah. Granted, that was like when I was watching like JoJo, so when I think like physical and Buma, I just think of like the flying fists. Like, ah yes, I'm gonna give you the power to JoJo punch people by filling you with life energy. Fantasy logic is way different. Well, it's all how you write it. I mean, obviously you could go the D&D magic system of soft magic, where like anything could be made into a spell, and there is wonder in that and merits. But if you go hard magic system, that still works. In the what do you think? They all these super feats. Yeah, like I said, it depends on the fantasy and whatever system you're working with. Because you could totally just do like more of a hard magic system and just a typical fantasy world, kind of like I'd probably say like Hunter x Hunter, right? Like Nin is in categories, and Nin does give you superpowers. Basically. But you know, they basically have it to a science to a degree. Fantasy worlds would be boring if it was realistic. I mean, if you have superpowers, it's not gonna be that realistic. Just having too... Just give them too much dark humor. Kill them. Dark humors. I guess the Plague Doctor, your humors are unbalanced. Let me get some leeches. Like, I was actually thinking about this one idea of, so in kind of like my fantasy world writings, I have these, this race of, like, what I can only describe as, like, goth black metal elves that are, like, super close to death. Well, like, spiritually close to death. So they, like, worship the dead and they live in underground crypts. And I kind of had this idea of, like, this basically, like, wandering, like... I don't know, like... I don't know how I would describe them, but they would basically go around and, like, be morticians, lay the dead to rest, and then kill undead and necromancers with a passion. And they would... And, you know, they have, like, kind of like the King Diamond face paint, and, like, the corpse paint. And they would have, like, this, like, kind of like Frankenstein woman with a shit ton of fucking guns. She's, like, 8 feet tall, as, like, his protector that he brought back. And I was thinking, like, how would we make this magic system interesting? Like, okay, it's like necromancy. There's, like, the House of Bones, there's the House of Blood, Flesh, Life, Death, Spirit. Like, and it'd kind of be more kind of like, maybe like Naruto jutsus. You know, kind of like that, like fire style. These would be like blood style, bone style. Or something like that. Have you been to space? There's nothing up there. It just sounds like someone mixed the Eldar and the Necrons from Warhammer. Yeah. It was around that time I was like listening to a lot of like dark ambience and dungeon synth that has some black metal vibes to it. And my dad likes black metal, so that kind of genre kind of just works its way in. So it's basically just like super pale elves that live in underground crypts. Yeah, I kind of just wanted to like spice elves up a little too. Sometimes I kind of made them more like gnomes, because you know they live underground, they don't get a lot of sunlight to grow. Anyway, there's always a concept I played around with like death elves. Anyways, they're like the Eldar elves, and then the Necrons are just basically Terminators. Yeah, it's kind of a grim, dark fantasy kind of setting. I've got a bunch of notes because there was a point, I think like a year or so ago, where I like tried to make my own fantasy world with like unique races. And I got pretty creative, or like I gave a lot of options for so many few races. I may always play healing magic offensively. You can turn to miasma. Yeah, because that's the thing, right? It's like life and death are the same thing. You look at a lot of mods on on like Skyrim. Restoration is also the death magic and the diseases. But what was it? There's the humans. There was a race of like aquatic people, and male births were very low and like super rare. So like it depends on the group of people, but sometimes, you know, they treat their men like kings, basically, kind of like a Ganondorf and some of the Legend of Zelda stuff. And well, so they were kind of like Asari as well, in the fact that they couldn't have anything other than pure-blooded Amentus, which is what their name was. But their racial powers for like D&D and stuff was based upon their other parent. And the race could have children with any race. So they were like the Asari. So like if you had an Amentus parent and then a human parent, then you get certain like racial traits and powers. But if it was a different race, like the Kryn, which are like the Death Elves, then you get a different racial power. Then there was basically the furry race, because around that time I was reading a lot of like Conan. So I thought, you know, Frank Frazetta, like, you know, caveman fighting a panther. Like, oh shit, what if we make like a panther man or wolf man? And they could have half-breeds and have like your like anime like girl with fox ears. And then more of the Necrontyr, where lived such short shit lives. And lived in crypts and worshipped the dead. Some machine cells. Oh yeah, that's true. What else was there? There was some robot people that really didn't understand. They don't remember their creation. What else was there? There's a toss-up between like bug people that worship stone giants, or like bird people that worship stone giants that were like petrified. And they lived in a desert to take care of the stone giants who were still alive, just petrified forever. And then all of those races could then have what would be like a Ganassi. So like, hold on. So if you absolutely wanted to be like a flaming fox girl, you had the power to. I didn't have a lot of races, but I had a lot of variation of the races. I was kind of proud of this. I gotta find my old notes. I gotta revive that project, because I kind of want to do like, I don't know, like some more tabletop stuff. I mean, like, you look at the highlight reel right here. We did some Pathfinder stuff. And we had some crazy stories me and Vulcan have probably told on the stream here. Of just some of the D&D stuff we did. I mean, if you want to talk about Conan races, like 5 different snake races, this is true. What was the one story with Baelit? Like, yes, look at these beastmen on this island. Then there's all the eldritch creatures. God, Conan's so good. I feel like, though, we could probably never get like an actual good Conan story because it's just so primal and savage. So one of the reasons I like sword and sorcery is because it's just like this like it's not like all the fantasy now where everything's like the Forgotten Realms. It was like just, you know, men being jacked dudes just overcoming everything. And then the women were just equally just as fierce, and, you know, I mean, obviously they had the like the chainmail bikini stereotype. But I mean, the men also wore just loincloths, so it was very much the mentality of like people when they play D&D, they usually play characters that they think are attractive to some degree, which is cool from a psychological standpoint, because I mean you can play whatever you want and this is what you choose. Best thing is life, see your enemies smite before you. Going in, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women. Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger is legitimately my favorite movie of all time. I love that movie. I watch it once a year. It's so good. Like it's corny, but it's also like one of those movies where it's like, if you look at the stuff they had on paper, they're like, oh my god, this is like some deep fucking shit. Like the scene where he's like, you know, on the Tree of Woe, which by the way, World of Warcraft stole the entire Warlords of Draenor trailer off Conan the Barbarian. Like, yeah, you know, it's cheesy, like he's biting a fake bird as he's tied to the Tree of Woe being crucified. Well, you really think about it, it's like, man, Conan is such a defiant badass that literally all he has left on his deathbed is his teeth. And he still says, fuck you, I'm not dying. God, he's so cool. And he's actually kind of funny because, I mean, obviously there's tales of Robert E. Howard, you know, basically being pen pals and writing letters with H.P. Lovecraft and them taking each other's works. They stole another trailer from FF14. It's like they didn't do it again either. Oh, that's sad. Well, you know, like, you look at Lovecraft stuff, and it's like, you're human, you can't possibly do anything. Like, the instant you see anything greater than you, your mind's gonna snap like a twig. But Conan is the exact opposite, actually. Conan is like, peak human. Like, he's jacked, he's smart. You know, he's a cunning guy. He's like the full package. And he's the best of humanity, and he always overcomes whatever weird eldritch horrors are just thrown at him. Man's defiance against uncaring gods. Like, yeah, like in the movie, like he prays to Crom, and he's like, Crom, I've never prayed to you before. I have no tongue for it. And he's talking like, you know, I hope this battle pleases you. And it's like, and if, I can't remember what it was, but he basically like said like, you know, if you don't look upon this, then to hell with you. I'm just gonna do this myself. Fuck you, God. Conan is so good. I think also Conan the Barbarian was one of the big inspirations for Berserk. I feel like he talked about that. Like, yeah, one of the ones is old Conan stuff. Basically tells Crom to go fuck himself and then actually gets help. Yeah, because Crom is like one of those cool gods of like, don't you come fucking praying to me because you need help. Do it yourself. If you do it yourself and be a man, then you might make me happy and I might help you. He's basically a warrior god. He's like, don't come to me bitching for help. Do it yourself. Although Crom has kind of helped Conan in several stories. Like, I think, what was it? The Phoenix and the Sword? Where, like, maybe it's the comic rendition, I can't remember. Like, he gets like a vision. It might have been Crom, I'm not sure. It said, yo, wake up, someone's gonna fucking kill you. Also a god who has no care for worship. Yeah, because, you know, he doesn't want fucking bitches worshipping him. It's like, you know, I ain't gonna help you every time you come pray to me, because I ain't gonna hold your hand. Go do it yourself. And if you do good, you make me proud. Maybe then I'll help. Because you deserve it. Because you earned it. Oh god, how do we go from anime to Conan? Hawke emergency? 1, 2, or 3? 2. Fancy gods just love playing with their food, mortals. Yeah. I mean, a lot of times you'll also see, like, the reason gods help Thanks. No matter what, it was gonna be fuck as the response, wasn't it? It's like, gods are powered by worship, so that's why they generally help out people. Show that they exist. Yeah, so they're gonna let you die in your sleep like a bitch, yeah. Like, fuck, Conan, like, you've been so good, and you're just gonna let this, like, assassin come up to you while you're snoozing? Come on. That ain't right. Yeah, I don't mean to toot my own horn about fantasy gods, but I had some very popular gods in my my Pathfinder games. People tend to love them because usually what I did is like okay, the good gods. You have 3 good things and you have 1 bad thing about you. It's like okay, here's the god of like the sun of valor and strength. Well, he's also the god of strife, so you're gonna get the shit kicked out of you. Well, you know what? You're gonna stand back up, because that's what winners do. And then, Doomkin's really like the one god I made called Doom. He was the god of wrath. But he wasn't like, oh, I'm mad, I'm gonna destroy things. He was more of like an assassin god of... Just giving you hatred, giving you the spite. And then when the time comes, you're gonna stab that motherfucker in the back for everything he's got. So he was very more... He was the god of wrath, but he was also the god of oaths. So he was like the god of contracts. It wasn't just be angry, it's be spiteful of your neighbor, and then turn your spite and anger into a blade in their back. His mother turns Doom guy into katana wielding waifu badass. Oh, I don't know if I could do that. Like the pink unicorn skin for Doom guy was a bit much for me. What other gods was there? Like one of the ones I could tell when someone was gonna be a chaotic horny player was my lust goddess. Where the best way I can describe her was like, yo, you like the ugly bastard tag? That's cool. Because she was like the goddess of like lust, monsters, gluttony, and truth. And the truth thing is, I think, is what got a lot of people interested. Because it was very much... Her mentality was like, wow, you like this really fucked up fetish? You know what? Fuck what other people think of you for liking that. The important thing is that you like it. That you're honest with yourself. That you're not lying to yourself that you think you're a bad person. Because all humans are just vile, inherently corruptible things. So don't fight it. Just give in to what you like. You'll be a lot happier. So, she was the goddess of no kink shame. And they took it to the extreme. And there's a few people that were interested in that goddess. Even when one of them was just like male human fighter mercenary. Because one of the notes I put was like, well, she's the goddess of lust. People do the beast with no back. Or there was like the beast with 2 backs when they're lustful. That's a lot of kids out of wedlock. So she also kind of became like the patron goddess of like orphans. Because I mean like oh shit, well I did this. Beast with no back, beast with 2 backs. I slipped on that one. And so his whole thing was like, yeah, I worship that goddess. I mean, I kill monsters, so, you know, kiss the pendant a little before I go kill a monster, make sure I win the fight. And then, also, you know, I just kind of worship her because, you know, I was an orphan, and she just kind of watched out for me, so more respect than worship. That's some interesting ones. What else was there about her? Oh, yeah. There's a thing about how lying was a sin unless it like protected the faith or led to or furthered the aims of the church. So like every one of her like priests and priestesses were like super. They wouldn't technically lie to you, but they wouldn't be telling all the facts. It's not lying if you don't tell them all the facts. Like, alright, what's your profession? Oh, I'm a priest. They don't tell you they're the priest of the evil sex god that births monsters. And what was the other one? There was one, I think it was the god of pride. Where, like, you think, like, pride, like, oh, I'm very opulent and I have everything in gold. I'm so beautiful. Thinking of gods, why have Bethesda made all the Daedric gods one-note brainlets? That is sad. Because if you, like, really look into the philosophy of some of the Daedric gods, it's actually very interesting. Like, what was his name? Like Sanguine something? Like the god of like gluttony, the party god? It's like, yo, yeah, party god, hell yeah! Let's get drunk and let's have a good time. Well, he's also the god of taking drugs and getting too rowdy and beating your wife. So like, he's straight up the god of gluttony, where it's just too much of something and it just corrupts you. But, what was the other one? Like, it was the pride god. Yeah, like, you think pride, like, oh, look at me, I'm just amazing. But my pride god was actually the god of also revulsion. So, like, they were like, that one Daedric god from Elder Scrolls that was like all the maggots and all the vile vermin and all that. I was also like the god of disease and curses, so they were very spiteful. And I'm thinking, well, why would anyone worship that disgusting thing? Because they're also the god of outcasts. The dregs of society and the ostracized or whatever, and the pariahs, they go to worship and they feel very embittered of the world. So then they'll like throw around diseases and curses on people they feel like deserve it. To like show their quote-unquote true selves. I mean, poor shit, Gorath has been landized to hell. Yeah, cause like Jigalag as his counterpart is fascinating if you think about it. Because Jigalag really is the god of insanity. He keeps trying to take back his realm at the end of every era. And right before he can actually, like, do it, he always reverts back to Sheogorath. And what's the definition of sanity? Trying over and over again. And trying the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. She thinks Excalibur only to lose it. Yeah. Sounds like if I ran a game for the GM I played with on the YouTube channel. Oh, what's that? You're a fighter and this is your weapon and you built your character around it? Oh, well, the boss just sundered your weapon. Good luck. You should have brought a second one. It's a fucking greatsword. It's heavy. Not even that. He wasn't always random shit like cheese. He was a spork, haha, ram. Yeah. I feel like they could have done a lot better with like him being like the god of madness and basically chaos, right? Because you literally cannot anticipate what he's going to do. Like you just to say like, you know, he's just talking to like this weird animal that's just mauling him to death. Like trying to maul him to death, and he's just having a casual conversation with his entrails being ripped out. And then he, you know, he gets back up and he's like, well, that was fun. And he immediately just sees you and he just flips his fucking shit and just annihilates you. Like, pure chaos is horrifying. That's the problem with legendary weapons, they never stay with you. Or believing he was crazy, yes, but manic or dementia, and says normal things sometimes, yeah. There was actually another one, this is talking about losing legendary weapons, was there's a good god I made, who was like the god of like dreams, magic, knowledge, dragons, but they're also the god of goddess of mystery. So they were very much like, you know, ignorance is bliss sometimes. So they would like take like, it'd be very Excalibur, like, alright, Acolyte, here's what I need you to do. I need you, and this is gonna sound fucked up. I'm gonna need you to take this super god killer weapon away from the hero. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because we're gonna bury it. And then another guy like 20 years later who's gonna need it is I'm gonna send him a vision quest. And they're gonna go get it and they're gonna save the world. And also there's some extra lore things of like why they keep things secret. But that's Obsidian City territory. And we don't want to open up that chestnut tonight. Yeah, let me pull up the Daedric gods, because some of them are actually fascinating from a philosophical standpoint. Ancient Mormon faith beginnings. Let's see here. Elder Scrolls. Daedric princes. Yeah, it's just things like that. And it was also tied in, because they're also the goddess of dragons, of explain kind of why like dragons are so good at magic and they hoard things. Is because goddess of mysteries want you to hide shit. What better place than in a dragon hoard, am I right? And just give them shit tons of magic. Let's see here. Boethia, Prince of Deceit, Secrecy, Conspiracy, Treasons, Unlawful. Boethia is actually interesting because there's another god I did of, what was he? He was like the elf god, where he was like, freedom, air, you know, the sky, rebellion. And I think like, oh, well, what's so bad about that? A lot of people have done bad things in the name of rebellion. So, and one thing was like the wrath god I mentioned, like, you know, sometimes this elf god of freedom and rebellion, sometimes he works with the god of wrath and oaths and murder. Because, you know, sometimes the slave really hates his master, and both want the goal of freeing the slaves. There you can never try. All this works. Yeah, that was also another really popular one. Was I had one guy where I had to like, he wanted to play like a Goliath paladin, and he was really into that idea. So, and his whole backstory was like, you know, my Goliath brethren, we were slaves, and then, you know, I just was filled with divine wrath. And I broke free, and I literally used my divine strength to rip open the doors of the city, and we rebelled, and we sought our freedom. So his personal story, because I like giving like little personal arcs and stories, even if it's not written in the book. I have like the module I'm reading, was going to be that there was an anti-paladin that sent people to kill him. I too have played FF14. Yeah, so his whole thing was going to be this anti-paladin was coming to kill them because they were in the town that got basically raided by the Goliaths, who were killing people in the name of getting their freedom. And they were also a person like, well, you know, we should free the Goliaths, this isn't right. And then as soon as they finally start, like, getting leeway, the Goliaths rebel and just start murdering everyone in town because they feel justified, including that woman's family. Like, fuck, I've been fighting for these guys, and what do? They immediately murder my family. Oh, I see. It's his fault. He ripped the gates off the door. After I had done murdering a bunch of random Goliaths and tracking them down, I'm gonna murder your punk ass. sadly, we never actually got to that point in the story because he just kind of disappeared, unfortunately. Another trope is when anime demon lord girl falls in love with the hero. Yeah. Nice. I got the Daedric lords up here. Oh, right, Boethia. Boethia is interesting because it's kind of like that same thing, right? Of like upheaval of authority. It was basically like overthrowing powers. I think I had another god like that, where they were like the god of like envy and schemes. So they would always be I think it has kind of worked in with the, like the rebellion god when I try to make it like evil. Of like, yeah, you know, I might be a little bit evil. You know, I might get power from people's like bitterness towards other people and make them want to murder people. But hey, your asshole boss is now dead and you're now free. So, you know, sometimes a little upheaval is good. A little change in authority, you know. I mean, later you might become the same asshole and then I'll help somebody else murder you, but you know, that's just a cycle of civilization, baby. This is what I do. I play all sides. I play for the underdog, you know, eat the rich. You know, if you have authority, you're an asshole. That one was fun. Actually, I had these guys called the Blood Lords, which are kind of like the evil countries, like main kings and queens. And one of them was straight up just a dude that just incited like eat the rich violence. And he was so good at public speaking about it that he got an entire city just burn itself down. And because they're all like based off of like one of the 7 deadly sins, his was obviously like envy. And they all would die to some means. And what was his? Well, you know, he talks about down with the rich and powerful, and then he has so many followers, he becomes rich and powerful, and then his own morality eats him alive. The fate turned Jack the Ripper into a girl. She also eats mages' hearts. Yeah, well, they can get away with that a little bit because, like, no one really knew who Jack the Ripper was. But I feel like also Jack the Ripper was an interesting case. Because they weren't really human. They were kind of like the manifestation of like unborn children, I think. Don't quote me on that, I never finished Apocrypha. Clavicus Vile here. Deals, packs, powers, bargains, serenity through wish fulfillment. I mean, Clavicus Vile is just basically your archetypal like deal with the devil. Maes Mora is Lovecraftian god of knowledge and madness, basically. Although I will say, her Maes Mora is also kind of a... Whenever there comes, like, gluttony gods, I never really did, like, oh, this is a fat sack of shit. I honestly gravitated towards knowledge. Because what's gluttony? It's consuming something to the point of waste to others. I mean, obviously food's like the big one, right? Of like fat ass noble is eating all the food while the peasants are starving. But if you really think, it's kind of like Merlin from 7 Deadly Sins, Natsu no Taizai. She was very flippant about destroying magical knowledge, as long as she had it. I was like, oh wow, look at this. This magical book has a spell that cures cancer. This is going in my library and it's never leaving. No one's getting this. That's kind of a Maes Mora too. Plus there's an interesting thing about memory and water with him. Christine's the hunting god. Wait, who's this? I've never actually seen this one yet. Is this a new Daedric god? Ethelia? Ethelia, known as the mistress of the untraveled road, the forgotten prince, the unseen and fate changer, is the Daedric prince of paths whose existence was erased from the memory of all beings, including other Daedric princes by Maes Mora. According to Mora, she has the ability to alter fate and shape destiny to her liking. Her existence was rediscovered by the Vestige, among others, during the events of Plains Meld. Yeah, I was gonna say ESO, make him lore again. Anime always makes demons out to be their horrible evil guys. They're just doing what the Huns did, conquer and pillage. Now that I think about it. Well, I mean, like, I don't think the Huns really ever had, like, a hatred for humanity, and that's usually what demons are depicted as, is they just fucking hate humanity and just want them dead or corrupted or manipulated. Most of it is kind of more for, like, psychological reasons, if you, like, look at the Bible, for examples, right? It's like they envy humans, but because of that, they hate us. Because they're not us. Jiglag, order, and destruction. Malakat's interesting. Like, he's... Like, yeah, he's a Daedric Lord, but if you're, like, one of his people, which we can get into a bit more of that, about how he keeps his people cursed to be down forever. He actually does legitimately care about his people. Here's another one about rebellion. Mehrunes Dagon, Prince of Destruction, violent upheaval, energy, and mortal ambition. And it's more like a survival thing, clashing ideas, etc. Yeah, I mean, like, there's a billion different ways of why demons might hate humans. This is because once he was a proper god, yeah, he got eaten and shat out. Mafala, plots, obfuscation, master manipulator, sower of discord. Oh, here's a good one I heard about. Meridia, the prince of energies of all living things, enemy of the undead, and who disrupt the flow of life. Exactly like, oh, she's the Daedric Lord of Light. She hates undead. Undead are bad, so she's pretty good. No, she's not. Because if you look at all of her servants, they eventually devolve into lifeless beings, ironically, where they just serve her as automatons. It's kind of a... It's like a twisted version of, like, the purity of light, if you think about it. She just happens to hate death energy. And also, you know, she's just kind of a bitch. Molag Bal is interesting. Molag Bal is literally like the god of, like, he can't see that his own inferiority complexes is what causes him to lash out. Right? Because, like, Molag Bal's he's like, what's the thing, right? Is like, he finally thought he had found love. Or what he thought love was with Vivek, and Vivek realized that's what Molag Bal wanted deep down, and so he used that, and that's why he lashes out, right? He's like, what do you mean you don't love me? Well, fine, then I'll make you stay, and then he ties you down to, like, the torture chair. And, like, fine, you want to know what it's like to hurt? Fine, maybe we'll see things my way. And he's just a very bitter man. I don't know what the difference is between... I don't know what they mean by ancient darkness in quotations for Namira. Grundle. Undead are angry because they didn't have their 9 o'clock coffee. I don't drink coffee, they'll be fine. Like, what was the one elf companion in Pathfinder Kingmaker? Where she was like a hardcore hedonist willing to kill whoever she wanted for just a sliced amount of pleasure. And then she became undead and she couldn't feel anything, ever. Let's see here. Pyrite. I hate that Pyrite is canonically the weakest Daedric Lord. That's a shame. Even though he's like the god of like natural like decay and selection. I love the original makes of the first two games. They were funny bastards. It's like me and Vulcan were talking earlier. Back in like Daggerfall and stuff, you straight up got to see like Azura's like full exposed breasts. They didn't care about nudity back then. They're sanguine. Vermeerna, I feel like they could do a lot more with, right? Because they're like the prince of dreams and nightmares. Deliverer of evil omens and dark portents. Like, why would you want nightmares? Well, because they're the god of dreams. I can very much see a element of sloth in Vermeerna, where, like, you know, the world's too hard. I don't like it. I'm gonna cover my ears and I'm gonna shut my eyes. Yeah. Well, you know, it's like, I can't face the world, you know, I have to shut down, and if Vermeerna gives me a dream and I don't wake up, then the world can't hurt me. You know, that kind of stuff. And then maybe Vermeer can do some fucked up stuff, like the Assassinorum from Warhammer. It's like, just sleep, you'll be fine. When you wake up, everything will be better, I promise. And then as they sleep, they show them basically, like, horrifying nightmares of like Clockwork Orange style they can't get away from because they can't shut their eyes anymore. They're dreaming and the mirror controls their dream, and then they wake up and they're frothing at the mouth ready to kill, like, and they're just like, all right, Vermeena's gonna wake this one up, let's back up and we're just gonna open the door in that direction and he's gonna kill whatever the fuck is over there. The Delivering Quest is about saving a guy before she scares him to death in a dream. There's some good shit they could do with Vermeerna. Because once you dream, you're hers. You know, this is the thing, like, what I try to, like, do with my evil gods, and I think why people generally like them from the feedback I got. Dark gods have to prey on something. Like, yeah, sure, like, the good gods, like, they have that one bad thing. But that one good thing for the evil gods, that's what ties people in. You know? You gotta prey on them somehow. Like, for example, was, what would be a good example? Yeah, you walk in a town full of people passed out on the floor. It'd be creepy as hell. So, like, here's one example of a character that was kind of like a little side quest. She was a priestess of the Lust Goddess. I think I called her Lilith because creative. Here's like a placeholder. The good magic system is once every 3 months. I know one guy that does dungeon synth. His name is Urang. And in his, like, kind of like fantasy world, there's like 5 seasons of nature and one of them is magic. But, so, the character was kind of based off the ASMR chick from Rise of the Rune Lords. So her whole thing was, you know, she was daddy's girl, she was the daughter of a wealthy nobleman, squeaky clean. But, you know, there's this really pretty boy in town, guys. And so, you know, they did the dirty and she got pregnant. And, they're like, her dad's like, what the fuck? I thought I told you better than that. You know what? You are a fucking disgrace. Get in your room and do not come out. We cannot tell anybody about this. And so, I mean, obviously that would devastate the character. And... well, then, you know, one night, she found out that her squeaky clean dad was having an affair with the maid. It's like, what the fuck? You basically abused me for doing the exact same shit. So she murdered him, the maid, and burned the house down. And then here comes fucking Lilith. It's like, hey, that was real shitty that your dad was like that. You know, fucking liars, am I right? You know what? Don't worry. I'd never shame you for the mistakes you've done. And frankly, I think it was justified. I mean, you were happy with that boy, right? And, you know, things like that, or like, obviously the god of revulsion, right? It's like society thinks you're ugly, that you're a monster. You're not a monster. You're just a normal person in my eyes. So just don't worry about it. Come with me. We'll be your family. You know, you gotta prey on the insecurities if you're an evil god. You gotta make it seem like it's good, then you corrupt them even further. You know, I know a lot of people don't like religion. Like, I've had players like, you know, I want to be a paladin, but I'm not very religious. I fucking love religion in video games and tabletop games, dude. There's so much good philosophy. I love it. And I've even, like, persuaded, like, people like, okay, you know what anime trope I like? A girl in heavy armor, and then you find out she's a girl later when they take their helmet off. Yeah. Was, so they were like that, of like, you know, I want to be a paladin, but I don't want to be very religious. It's like, okay. Tell me your backstory, and then we can find something. And their whole thing was like, they were, what was it? So they came from a noble family, and their brother was, I think he was basically made like a political execution. Like he found something out, and the law was like basically super corrupt. It's like, oh, well, we can't let this secret get out. You're under arrest and you're gonna be executed. He's like, okay, I can definitely see where this is gonna go. How about Sieglander here? Like, he's the god of heart, you know, he's like the god of justice, valor, the sun, but he's also the god of hardship. And it's like, okay, what if we twist it this way? Like, your parents think, like, you know, this is just... Because, you know, that's the thing, right? Is like... How do I put this? The angle we went for was... like, justifiable hardship, I guess? Was... Okay. You're going... That's just life. You're gonna fall down. I'm gonna teach you how to get back up. And because they were a paladin and they were trained to be a paladin from a young age, their family would also, like, be, you know, hard set on these values that god provided. However, if you don't really study it that well and really think about the philosophical means, then you kind of just let yourself get walked on, because, like, life's hard. You know, that's what the god teaches us, so we're gonna get knocked down, so let's just let them knock us down. So then it kind of became a thing of like, okay, fuck this. You guys are doing this wrong. I'm gonna go do things my way. I'm gonna find my own faith in God. And just that one conversation we had that night on building their character, we fleshed them out so much more than just cute little halfling paladin, you know? I'll be honest, they wanted to be their Final Fantasy XIV character. So I made a Lalafell race for them. And let me tell you, that little fucking Lalafell was the tankiest motherfucker I've seen. They move like 3 spaces per round, but you ain't ever fucking hurting them. They were a tanky motherfucker. They had 20 AC at the start. And that wasn't even if they're like fighting defensively or anything. But that was their whole thing, was like shield up. Everyone around me gets AC bonuses. Or like if they're near me, I can intercept their attack. They were very much a video game tank. But, you know. I fucking love religion, dude. That's why clerics are my favorite classes, because it really just fleshes it out so much. Sadly, I would have played a cleric in the little Pathfinder campaign over on YouTube, but unfortunately, the GM decided he wanted to also play a character and immediately came out with a super broken fucking cleric that nobody really liked. I would have played a cleric, but unfortunately. And then when I shot an idea for a cleric, he had a fucking bitch fit about morality and said no. And then proceeded to send me, like, philosophical, like, article links about, like, you know, sex and religion. Because the idea was kind of the, I was the only one that played, like, a female character in the group, because we were all guys, and I didn't want it to be a sausage fest. And so I had a high charisma character, like, oh, here we go, Hawke's gonna be, like, the slutty character. But no, my character's actually mature and never really used sex. And they were the group mom. So the second one was more of like, oh, here we go, Hawke's playing the fucking companion from Firefly. Like, wait. No, wait, they're actually super wholesome. Because the god of that one was kind of like the god of like rights and the patron of like prostitutes. And the angle for that one, I think, was like, you become an adult, you had sex for the first time. But my more angle is like the wholesome chick that was like, you know, I think you're very beautiful. Inside and out. She says to the half-orc, who nobody likes. We're just in Magic the Gathering, cool, they're known as Planewalkers. And from Firefly. That one chick who hit on everybody from Stargate. The angle was kind of like a mix of, like, obviously they could be a prostitute, but more than likely, sex was an option for them, but it was more of what you needed. So, like, what were some examples? Like, obviously, I am more meaning they're the same actor. I think so. I don't know. I haven't watched. I watched the Stargate movie. I never watched the show. But so what was an example? Like, this half-orc orphan. Nobody fucking loved them. And they were like super downtrodden. It's like, you know what? I think you're wonderful. And you know they had sex, and then that was like, see. Now you know that somebody's out there willing to love you. The world isn't out to hurt you. And then another one was like, alright, my son's gonna get laid and become a man. Like, alright, I'll be back in 2 fucking hours. Like, wow, your dad's a real asshole. Yeah, he really is. And then it was kind of more of like, rather than the sex they kind of got hired for, it was more of like, basically being their psychologist and giving them the courage to speak up and, you know, defend themselves from their very controlling father. So it was interesting from a psychological standpoint. Unfortunately, I never got to do the character because the GM had a fucking bitch fit about it. See, this way, I turn angles. You think like, oh, he's gonna be the slutty character. Like, oh, here he goes. We're gonna meet the character at the brothel. Like, oh. They're actually pampering the hard-working, like, tavern wench or whatever. I also had another idea for, like, what was it? It was the Inquisitor class, but the archetype was you literally beat people with a holy tome. And it's gonna be like a war god, and he's gonna be, like, super blunt. Because, you know, I was already playing, like, the super compassionate team mom rogue. And I was thinking, like, man, I really want to just be so fucking badass to beat people with a book. Unfortunately, Paizo doesn't know how to write their own fucking rules. So it became, I had to scrap that idea because nobody could figure out if the tome actually counted as like a makeshift weapon or not. It is super weird. God. I really would like to get back into tabletop games, but I don't know. I feel like that'd be a lot of effort to run a game, and unfortunately, I just don't have time for that. Make an improvised weapon, job done. I think that's what we were trying to figure out, because he was very much, the GM was very much rules as written versus rules as intended. Because there were feats of like supercharging your damage for improvised weapons, but no one could figure out if the special like tome weapon was an improvised weapon because it was a book, or if we went off the stats of it being a cold iron light mace, like it said, were the stats basically. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of like finagling I had to do. Or like a lot of I don't know. He was such a weird guy because he was like a decades long power gamer. So he knew fucking everything. It's like, ah yes, I would like to be a rogue GM, but the character is kind of based off of Primrose. If you've ever played Octopath. I mean, the model is literally just like, I kind of darken her skin a little bit to make her look Parisian. Like, oh, you want a dancer? Well, what if you go like the brawler and take this archetype and use some cestus to fight? Like, no, GM, I want to be a rogue. That's fine. Maybe a little shadow dancer. And I want to use knives. Are you sure? Because the cestus would be more powerful. You take this, this, and this. No, I want the versatility of a knife. 1d4 and make an improvised weapon. The class was weird because it treated the book, like I said, like a cold iron light mace, and you can enchant it. It was like you dropped so many things from that archetype just to wield the book as a weapon. And then also you used your intelligence instead of your wisdom, and you could like tattoo your body. It was such a cool class. I think it was called the Living Grimoire. And then that went on to inspire Doomikins with his D&D group, which is, I think... Let me pull up the Discord channel. I think her name is Calamari. She's like a vampire squid VTuber and they play D&D. And he was Eric John Yusupov the 17th, and he was a rogue that beat people with a book. I inspired that boy. I may not have been able to beat people with a book. What he did. God bless him. And then I just closed the game. It's been running this whole time. What other... Because I made like a lot of characters. There was one character because we were playing Rise of the Rune Lords. And I also had, like, the hardback of Rise of the Rune Lords. And I've read it before we played the game. It's like, okay, what if I can, like, tie myself in the story? And another one was, there was a character. It was the father of a tavern owner that becomes friends with the group. And so that father, in a fit of rage, kind of like possessed by the well of wrath underneath the city, he murdered his wife. And they were very much like, they were basically from the Japanese continent. So I thought, okay, what if I just like show up? Like, oh man, Zola's gone, what do we do? And I'm just walking next to the group just out of nowhere, fucking Batman style. Also ignore what I said about Firefly for more reason. I had mixed up Farscape and Firefly. That's right, I mean, I've never seen Farscape either, so... And... So basically, the premise was... I was the murdered wife, and I was very much like the grieving mother from Pillars of Eternity. I was basically Sadako from The Ring, except I was a monk. And I had like the ability to like leech ki out of people. And all my ki powers would have been like my ghost abilities, like becoming ethereal was becoming a ghost. And like, you know, like I think her name was Himiko was the bartender friend. Like I just show up and I just start crying when Himiko just was around. And I had no memories. Like, why am I crying? I don't like this. I feel like I know you. And like, oh, like, ooh, there's like one key power of like spider climb. We just run up walls and ceilings. I was like, alright guys, check this out. I'm gonna spend a key power and I'm just gonna like ring wall climb up and it's gonna freak everybody out. I had some interesting characters that I pitched to them, but I never got to do them because after a while I just realized I wasn't having fun. So I just didn't play anymore. I do like monks. Monks are really cool. I think it was like the Hungry Ghost monk was the archetype. You know, obviously once I pitched that idea, I then got bombarded with like, alright, well what if you're a ghost? You're like, you use 3 levels of your class, but you get all the... It's like, no, I'm fine. I've already got all the ghost shit taken care of. Just make me like, basically human, like semi-human. But functionally, I'm human. Because that's the thing about monks, is you kinda need the levels, otherwise they don't get their powers as good. Man, I don't think I could ever play Pathfinder again. I've just been so soured by it. It was just bad experiences. That's why I've been looking for like other ones, like I have Lancer, which is kind of like a mecha tabletop RPG. I've got Sword World, which is like Japan's version of D&D that has been fan translated. I really like the systems there and some of that. It's very cool. This is there. I got a few other like tabletop games. I've kind of like made my own like system of like, alright guys, you ready to start playing? Alright, we're gonna make our characters. Alright, what's your name? What's your class? What's 2 boons and a flaw? Alright, we're good to go. And it was supposed to be more of like an improv, like rules light type thing. And we had some pretty good times with that. Vulcan was a paladin that had like a utility shovel. And it was like, alright, I go to punch the ghost. Okay, well you're a paladin, so your fists are filled with divine fury, so you can actually beat the ghost to death. They're like, nice. And the ghost starts laughing like, haha, you can't hit me. Oh shit. Got some good times. And then, funny enough, that utility shovel became one of the most powerful weapons in the Hawkeverse. Because we figured like, okay, next one shot we're gonna do the week after that. It was like, there's spirits of like the 5 Chinese elements, so like fire, water, wood, earth, and wind / metal. I think it was metal what we did. Yeah, we did metal. And I kind of ripped off Arthurian legend. Like, basically the premise was this nobleman was getting agitated, to put it lightly, because this little shitter fairy took the dragon lance. That was a little reference. And what the dragon lance did was it was basically a spear that turbocharged his magic. So the fairy would just like put everyone to sleep and then set his castle on fire as a joke. So the group had to like go into the cave and get the other weapons to just stop his bullshit. And there was really like less combat, but each of them had to do one of the trials. And it was perfect because there's like 4 of them playing. So, one, I just asked like a bunch of like morality questions. Can't remember what he got out of it. Another one who was really excited to play D&D stuff for the first time. I asked him a bunch of like no, that's what it was. I asked him a bunch of morality questions, and each way he would respond, I would put like a point of alignment, and whatever the outcome was when I tallied it up, he would get this little like sprout guy that would grow into like a human-sized leshy, and that would determine its alignment and its class. And he ended up making like this like leshy assassin that was loyal to him because he went lawful neutral. So it was super loyal to him, and he had this plant assassin. What if it was evil? It would have immediately tried to kill him. And I think the Earth one was for the person who couldn't show up, but basically theirs was, alright, we're gonna send you deep underground. And Gary Gygax would be proud of you. And then so the Earth person would be underground, and they couldn't really participate in the traditional sense. And they would like have to hold up this like stone pillar. And what they could do was they could help give dice bonuses. Every time they did, the pillar would kind of like go down a little bit or get heavier until it crushed them, so they had to be careful. So luckily, they just threw the player in there that couldn't make it because they had something come up. And Vulcan's, I think, was kind of the coolest. He had to do the metal one, which was this is what I ripped off of Arthurian legend. It was I think it was Gawain. It was like the green giant guy. He was like, alright, here's what we're gonna do, Vulcan. You little shovel paladin, you. Here's what you're gonna do. You are going to hit me, but then I'm gonna hit you twice as hard. It's like, okay, that'll be easy. It's like, I'll like swing the axe to make it look like I'm going full force, but it's gonna graze off him and barely hit him. But here's the problem. He was the giant entity of metal. So what the dude did was he would magnetize the axe, just swing full force at him and cut his head off. And then because he was like fully magnetized, he just pop his head back on and it's like, well, now it's my turn. Get ready to die. And so Vulcan was like, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking die. And fucking Chad as he was, he fucking got on his knees and he just spread his arms out and just put his faith in God. And the giant like just swung and just like gave him like a little cut on the cheek, like, huh, that's weird. Huh, I guess I didn't like swing that right. Oh well. Well, I only got one swing. And it was basically trying to teach him the lesson of basically standing firm and being brave in the face of very imminent and assured death. And what did Vulcan get out of this? He got what I guess the best way to describe it was a weapon with a transformative property in like Pathfinder and D&D. And what do I mean by that? If he can think of it as a weapon, that iron bar he got as a treasure would become a weapon. And he turned it into a fucking shovel. So basically, if you wanted a hammer to crush skeleton bones, it'd be a hammer. But if you wanted like a spear for reach, it would become a spear just by him thinking it. And then I blew his mind later, because these are like one-shots, like we weren't really thinking of, like a setting. I mean, for the elemental one, it was kind of a mix of like Gaelic legend, Arthurian legend with kind of like a Chinese Five Elements twist. But when we played an actual serious campaign, and we were playing Dragon's Demand, and we got to the dragon area, like to get the Dragon Slayer weapon, Vulcan didn't put two and two together, but the town in that campaign is called Belheim, and I changed it to Friedheim. Because his character's, the Shovel Paladin's name was Friedrich. And he didn't put it together until and Vulcan, what do you see there? Where the dragon slaying weapon should be? You see a motherfucking shovel. And it blew his mind. Because he didn't think that his dumb little, like, Shovel Paladin would be a canonical hero who founded the town after slaying a dragon. Like a giant black dragon. Those are fun. Who else was in that group? We had an archer who, I shit you not, was a 3-foot tall human, and he would constantly... I think you mean Shovel Knight? Oh no, this was an upgrade, it was Shovel Paladin. But we did make a joke that he was Shovel Knight. Because I think we were listening to Shovel Knight music that night. But yeah, our little 3-foot tall human archer just kept tickling everyone's balls. And it became a joke that every time he did it, everyone would whisper Oni-chan. Like, you don't know who this Oni-chan is, but it's weird that people keep referencing them. And his whole thing was he had, like, trick arrows. We had, like, a demon who could, like, teleport into, like, ashes and, like, reappear. The one guy I was really excited to play the first time, the one that got the Leshy Assassin. His was interesting because he was basically like... I don't know the term for it, but I think he was like a European, like, style shogun. I want to be Violin Knight. And... so his whole thing was like he would like try to convert people to his side, and we just kind of made that his power. And when we fought the ghost, like, alright, I'm gonna put faith in my god, I'm gonna chuck this rock at the ghost. The rock does damage. And then that's when Vulcan found out, like, alright, I'm gonna pray to my god and put divine magic into my fists. And by the end, he had like 3 or 4 followers that were just... He basically tried to turn the game into an RTS. He became a workaround summoner class, and it was fantastic. I encourage that kind of stupidity. It was so good. Maybe I should go back to like that kind of setting, because there really was no setting, but there's just something more magical when you build the world around the games you've played with your friends. Because let me remind you, I ran Dragon's Demand a second time. This is the one that had the Goliath Paladin. And Vulcan joined in because, like, despite the fact that I had like 6 people said they were playing, only 2 showed up. So he jumped in. And Vulcan learned that you could be a gunslinger in Pathfinder. And this is Vulcan we're talking about, who like actually knows how to like make and disassemble guns and like make blueprints for like fucking tanks, because it just fascinates him. And so he gained the sacred knowledge of how to make guns in game. That was when he got the his Dragon Slayer weapon the second time, because it was given to him by a friend from the first time through like timey-wimey bullshit. And Vulcan blew himself up to kill the final boss in a heroic sacrifice. So there was now a giant crater named Vulcan's Wrath. Just out of pure spite, he saved humanity. But that wasn't the only thing he did. In case the dragon attacked the town, He taught the townsfolk how to make guns. This was the best way I could describe the country they were in was barbarians riding dragons. He taught barbarians that ride dragons how to make guns before everybody else. And we just thought to ourselves, this is gonna be some interesting fallout that you've made, Vulcan, and I am 100% here for it. Then I tried doing Starfinder, and what I basically did there was think cyberpunk with elves and magic and shit. So basically Shadowrun. And they're like, ah yes, this is Freedom City. Where they start as barbarians riding dragons wielding guns to becoming the bastions of industry into the mega city, and then everyone got super corrupt and the people rose up again like their barbarian ancestors, got a bunch of guns and said fuck it, we're now Freedom City, bitch, get out. And that basically became Night City. And still there was Vulcan's crater, which I believe got turned into a combat zone for entertainment. You give me like one little idea, and I can go so fucking far with it. This is why I always encourage players when making characters to flesh out your backstory, because I guarantee you, I will find that one cool thing about your character and we will explore it and you're gonna feel like such a badass. I mean, for fuck's sake, like the story I just said, right? It was like, oh, I'm a paladin and I'm gonna wield a tactical multi-use shovel. Vulcan, I want you to understand in the future this is gonna be one of the most powerful weapons in the world. Well, anyways, how long have we been going and me just chatting? 2.5 hours. Oh, I'm sorry, no, 3.5 hours. Oh, you get me going and I can talk for a while. Especially things I'm interested in. I should really revisit that, like, Celtic Arthurian thing. I don't know why, but there's just something about that setting that just kind of it got made into that's super special. But I guess that's like the first like actual like one-shot campaign kind of canonical setting I made. I didn't really put much effort into it, and there's some freedom in that. But anyways, we did not play the game. So once stream is over, I will immediately turn it to just chatting. And change the title because we did not see the Binkler. The Binkler did not show up. Probably good for all of your sanity. Timestamping this for YouTube is probably going to be a bitch because we talked about a lot of things. And I like to make it comfortable for everyone. If you want a topic, I put that fucking timestamp in. If you want to just see the segment of me talking about Conan the Barbarian, you bet your sweet baby I'm gonna put that in a fucking timestamp. Because that's what I would want. Anyways. I might stream tomorrow because we didn't actually play the game today. And we got a few games on the docket. Like, playing some more Agrist War. I've really been itching to play some Senran Kagura again. For... You know, I shouldn't say obvious reasons, because I legitimately actually like to play the game. It's super fun. It's like a more casual Dynasty Wars in a way, without like the objectives and shit. So it's actually a legitimately fun game. But anyways, the numbers, the viewership has been kind of high today. I'm surprised. I think Vulcan's right. I know before coming on the Discord, I was ranting about how I can't get Asian Bunny X out of my recommendeds. And that's all I see in just chatting is women with like their breasts out. Like, this is what the people want. They want just chatting and just chatting. They want that connection. Maybe they don't want to be horny all the time. Anyways, thank you so much for anybody that did stop by. It's greatly appreciated. I don't know if there's anyone I can raid. Who the fuck are these people? They changed their rating thing. These aren't my followers list. They're just random people that they think I'd like. We're not gonna do that. I don't know those people. It's scary meeting new people. And I feel weird rating like the small amount of cool people. While you all are amazingly cool, and I would bless any chat with you, it feels weird rating into people I don't know. Because I'm a lurker in other chats. So we'll just call it here. Might stream tomorrow, I'm not sure. We'll definitely stream the day after that, though. That's when we'll play Agris Generations of War. We gotta find the waifus and go to war with them together, not against them. That'll be fun because there was some interest, it seemed, in the viewership. Granted, I had to put Deshana as the thumbnail, so thank you so much for stopping by and listening to me rant by myself for like the last hour. Take care, everybody. This is actually really fun tonight. Feel good. You should too. Bye-bye. Darkness. You're all mine. And didn't forget it. You're my... Fuck this weird Scottish bullshit.